rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Climax goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Championship returns this summer, live on Willow TV.
Drop dead gorgeous. The Church Street Park here in North Carolina. You cannot get much better than this wherever you go in the United States. One of the best facilities on display. And we've already seen one fantastic day of cricket. Sun out in its full form. And these 4 teams playing today will be looking to create their own sunshine in what will be an exciting day full of action. As we begin with the Fort Lauderdale Lions, a team that struggled in this tournament, bottom of the Southern Division, up against the Atlanta Fire on a high, coming off of that win against home team Morrisville Raptors late last night. Well, as always, my good friend from the MLC Network, Nate Hayes, alongside me. Nate, someone that's really given us all that insight, expert analysis throughout the season. So much at stake for these 4 teams today, Nate. What are you looking forward to most of all?
Well, first of all, this Fire team, they only need one more win to make the playoffs, but they're going to go all out. They're going to try to win every game this weekend and clinch first place. The future, it's in their hands right now. The Fire are still winning without Aaron Jones and Stephen Taylor, who are playing with USA in Scotland right now. They're also without Cornwall, whose wife is expecting this weekend. Nasser Hussain has come in and filled the void very well for them. For the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they're just playing for pride. They want to go into the offseason on a winning note, and beating one of the best teams in the league would do that for them. They have Roy Silva as a match winner. They have Javel, who's a young batsman who scored a century already in his career, and they're going to want to win.
Well, look at the Southern Division, because last night it was a result, very favorable result for the Atlanta Fire, winning that game against the Raptors to go to 17 points. They've got a superior net run rate as well for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, looking to pick up some consolation prizes in the sense of wins against the Atlanta Fire over the course of the 2 days. Nate Hayes alongside me. Obviously, we'll have Aman Patel back with us, and even Morrisville captain Dane Peat, who will be in action later today. He'll be in the commentary box first. Earlier, we had the toss, the 2 captains, Roy Silva and Zain Saeed. And after winning the toss yesterday and electing to bowl first, Saeed opting to bat today on a very good surface. That green grass, you think, will assist the seamers early, but it is a much drier surface. And, well, for the Atlanta Fire, a new opening pair again today. Zain Saeed, the captain, beginning proceedings off. And we know about the punch that this team possesses in terms of Cornwall, Saeed at the top of the order, Jamar Hamilton. And they've also got in newcomer Nasser Hussain, the former international player for Bangladesh, who's played in all 3 formats. He made an instant impact with his man-of-the-match performance. The young seamers and Atindra Subramaniam, Everard Dyer stepped up big time yesterday. And for the Fort Lauderdale Lions?
Well, for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, you have Amari Williams. Elton Tucker Jr., he's a young player who made the final selection camp for the USA U19 team. He didn't quite make the team, but he is a good, promising left-arm spinner, and it looks like he's going to start with the ball today.
Well, that man has been unstoppable in this tournament. 414 runs for Rakeem Cornwall. He's hit 39 maximums and leading the chart in terms of 6 hitting. He's also picked up wickets. He's done it all in terms of impact for the Atlanta Fire. And he's a big reason why they're sitting up top that Southern Division. And he'll be looking after a couple of low scores against the Raptors, one last weekend, one yesterday, to cash in. Zain Saeed, we've seen him shuffle throughout the order. Yesterday bat at number 3, today he's back at the top of the order as they look to bat first and put some pressure on the Lions team that they've beaten already. The very first game of the tournament for both of these teams, they met in that occasion. The Fire winning by 6 wickets, making easy of that chase of 128. The bowler, well, as you mentioned, Elton Tucker Jr. hasn't been that prolific wicket taker, but he'll be looking to make an impact on a surface which we have seen spun. Spin correction yesterday. It was all about spin for the Fire. First delivery, Tucker to Cornwall. This man is something else. That has traveled so far, just too short from Elton Tucker. And if that is a sign of what's to come, look out if you're at Church Street Park.
The Lions just sending Tucker in to the Wolves right away.
Well, even in this power play, 2 fielders out. That's too short. Raheem Cornwall is the type of player, whether it's 2 or 5 fielders outside the circle, he's going to back himself to go big. Last couple of games for him in this minor league, and he'll be looking to cash in and really surge up that run scoring chart. Short outside the off stump now, and he's going to get it in the gap again. Showing the versatility, the big man. 6 and then a 4.
Well, last night we talked about how people tend to come to this ground more in the second innings than the first innings. You don't want to be late to a game when Raheem Cornwall is batting first.
Delicately placing that one past point. He knew it. Point fielder was up in the circle. Tucker Jr. bowling from around the wicket. It's an interesting angle to Cornwall. I've seen these left-arm spinners go around the wicket. Much closer. Did he get bat on it? Umpire not interested, but that's probably where he wants to be. A lot slower, allowing the ball to do a bit more off the surface. Never an easy challenge bowling to someone with this much power.
Good EJ. Good lad.
Good adjustment from Tucker again. Seeing him come across his stumps, Cornwall pushes it even wider. It's a similar angle we saw from Obas Pinar yesterday, and he was able to get some serious movement with that arm ball. It just jagged back to the right-hander. So Elton Tucker Jr. much slower than Obas Pinar, but he'll be looking for some similar turn with this angle.
Ball.
Very good comeback here from Elton Tucker Jr. 3 straight dot balls after giving up 10 on his first 2. This youngster's showing an awful lot of fortitude right here.
Well, when you look at Raheem Cornwall, what he's facing, the left arm spin is one of his lower strike rates in T20 cricket. Again, picks out the man. But a good first over for the Atlanta Fire. They'll be happy with the start. 6 on a boundary, 10 for none. A lot of batting to come for the Atlanta Fire. We've seen already Nasser Hussain in his very first game get to 38 in a man-of-the-match performance. They've also got Jamar Hamilton, who played some cracking shots last night against the Raptors, and a win for the Fire. They'll be coming in on a high. What will that win do for them, beating the home team, the Mortal Raptors, a team that beat them less than a week ago?
Oh, it's going to energize them for the entire weekend. There's no doubt about it. And like I said earlier on, they're going to want to win every single game this weekend. They want to clinch first place. They have it in their hands. They don't want to let go. And now we see Roy Silva coming into the attack here. Roy, by the way, has bowled here plenty of times. He actually played for the Morrisville team during the 2020 exhibition season.
So Roy Silva, the captain, after losing the toss, goes to him with that new ball. Zain Saeed, the captain, will be also looking to get in on the fun. If these two can bat the power play, you already know that the Atlanta Fire, just given the nature, will be able to get up past that 50-run mark just because of Raheem Cornwall and how dangerous he is inside this phase of the innings. Growing as the most important phase in T20 cricket because of the restrictions. Just 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. Off the outside edge. Painful for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, but it's going to be runs nonetheless. Off the outside edge, off the middle of the bat. It doesn't matter at this stage. You want to cash in as much as you can.
Bit of luck there. They don't really need a whole lot of luck, but they're going to take it anytime they can get it. They might need it actually against Roy Silva, who has performed very well this season with the ball. An economy of 5.91 and an average of 17 with 8 wickets in his 8 innings bowling.
So Silva's got to come back. Well, I think he can be a lot straighter, attack the stumps, keep up to the stumps as well. Oh, much better delivery as he goes straight. Zain Saeed having to adjust, just gets the bat down in time. He'll be a tentative, the captain, because he's been short of runs this season after that electrifying season for the Atlanta Lightning. beats the outside edge narrowly.
Silva is a veteran of the USA cricket team. He was in the team for several years. Helped the team get to ODI status, actually. Was one of Pubadu's favorite players.
Bowled him straight through. Zain Saeed looking to go into the onside, and Roy Silva again attacking the stumps, this time much straighter, and gets his man.
Yeah, we talked a little bit yesterday about how Zain Saeed hasn't really clicked this season as much as he did last season, and he's not going to like that. He'll have wanted to head into the playoffs, if they do make the playoffs, on a higher note than this. Still 1 innings left for him tomorrow.
Well, it didn't really move laterally. Just seemed like he missed a straight one. Zain Saeed will be disappointed with that. Gone for 4. The Fire lose their first, 10 for 1.
Batsman in, batsman in, batsman in, batsman in, batsman in.
We have seen variations in this Atlanta Fire order. Yesterday, young Rishi Pandey, 16 years old, opened the batting. He now comes to the min at number 3. It's an interesting move because yesterday I just felt it affected Raki and Cornwall, the amount of dot balls he faced in the power play, Rishi Pandey. So if you want to improve on that performance, he'll want to look to rotate the strike a bit more. He did get a decent run tally, 31, but he faced 37 deliveries. For that situation, chasing 130 runs, you don't mind that. But today, batting first, having to set a total, he's going to want to be a bit more efficient at the crease.
Fire's definitely hoping that his innings yesterday has given him some more experience on this pitch, that he'll be able to start a little bit better. He really only has to score singles here in this power play.
The wicket again, just not very fast, just straight, not doing a lot. Saeed was stumped yesterday, looking to go big in the onside, playing across that ball, and you're always in with a chance as a bowler when you have a batter swinging across the line. Just exposes his stumps. Simple, you miss, I hit. It was just chipped in the air. Roy Silva was in with a chance for half a second. Just went over his head. And this is what I want to see young Rishi Pandey focus on. He's such a stylish young player. Tons of technique, tons of ability. And he's got to, as he matures, learn to play different situations. Now, even in the power play, you want to get Raki and Cornwall back on strike. Yesterday, Nate, you'll remember, he faced an entire maiden over. The very next over, Raki and Cornwall was on strike, and it just felt a break in rhythm. He was dismissed on the first delivery, so Rishi Pandey will want to learn from that experience and want to get the big man back on strike, because the way he struck the ball in the first over, you want to have him facing as much deliveries in the power play. A really good over from Roy Silva comes to an end. They take a wicket, just concede 4 runs, 14 for 1.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, this man, Raki and Cornwall, this team unbeaten when he scores 30 or more runs throughout the season. They've only lost 3 games, the Atlanta Fire. But anytime he's come to the party with the bat in hand,
A little bit more.
he has been unstoppable. 3 half centuries in the tournament. His final weekend, of course, the tournament, the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, will really miss him. Tournament, of course, presented by Sunoco. It's been great to have our corporate sponsors on board, having players like Cornwall, the international ability here on display. Dan Zahayat into the attack. A man that Raki and Cornwall know well from Jamaica. Obviously, he's played international cricket for the West Indies. Haven't seen him much with the ball in hand, though, so different role for him. And he has a big challenge bowling to Cornwall.
Well, he certainly knows what he's up against. Perhaps he has some knowledge here that he can impart to the rest of the team on how to get this big man out. As you mentioned yesterday, every time that Raki and Cornwall has scored 30 runs, the Fire have won.
But he gets it fine, Cornwall. He's showing the different gears that he has. He's got the power game, but he also has that touch game as well. Delicate from Cornwall has picked up his 3rd boundary now.
Nicely played there by Cornwall. And we saw him yesterday night, we saw him turn down a single just to stay on strike the next over.
Slower delivery off the inside edge. It's a controversial thing that Raheem Cornwall likes to do in the power play. Now, many will not agree with it. When you think about the power that he has, I can't say that I totally disagree with the decision, because especially in these first 6 overs, it's imperative that he faces the majority of the deliveries. Obviously, he's got a very capable bat at the other end, but especially with a new young Rishi Pandey at the other end, has to display more of his experience. Getting some movement through the air. Danza Hyatt, that one seemed to just swing in late to Raheem Cornwall.
I think another reason, you know, he doesn't necessarily run terribly well. It has to be a clear single. There's no sneaking a single with Raheem Cornwall in the middle. So, you know, he's going to want to back himself, and, you know, he's a very confident batter. You want him on strike.
Move to 40 maximums this season. 46s. I think people underestimate how many maximums that really is. Not easy to hit those big 6s. Off the outside edge. It's going to be runs. There is that deep 3rd fielder in place. So it'll just be a single. Good slower ball from Danza Hyatt. This is something that we saw work from the seamers yesterday. Subramania went pace off at times. Shiva Kumar Duvarapu as well. So surface that has been on the slower side. Vijay Malela.
Just a bit. Leg stump. Thank you.
VJ fresh back from the Challenge League in Canada, an ICC pathway event.
More intent being shown from Rishi Pandey. It's a good shot to play. And it's going to get into the boundary as well for a 4. So Rishi Pandey finally off the mark. I want to see a lot more of that, because he's a young man with so much ability. He's got shots like that in the book.
I don't think Cornwall will mind watching as long as this is happening, as long as the youngster is scoring boundaries like this. Very well played. Beautiful shot there.
It's a lightning quick outfield, so you will get value for your strokes. The other umpire with Vijay Malela, Alvin Burnett, man from the West Indies. See again there, Danza Hyatt, very full. He's slow through the air, but he is getting some lateral movement. Nonetheless, a good over for the Atlanta Fire. 9 from it, 23 for 1.
You mentioned the 2 umpires. They are a staple of this community here. Triangle Cricket League takes a lot of pride in producing quality cricketers and umpires. Take a look there. Zain Syed out quickly. 4 runs from 3 balls. Raheem Cornwall. Not quite Raheem Cornwallish yet, but showing signs for certain. Rishi Pandey, 4 from 5.
So work to be done for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, a team that's only won 3 matches in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. Silva will continue. The experienced 42-year-old who's played at the international level for the USA. One thing to note as well, Nate, this Atlanta Fire team will expect 2 of their international stars back next weekend if they do make those playoffs, Stephen Taylor and Aaron Jones. And they've only lost 1 game when the 2 of them have played. Of course, this morning, many would have seen Aaron Jones getting to his maiden 1 international 100 in that Cricket World Cup League 2 game against Scotland. So we wish him all the congratulations from North Carolina. It was truly a sensational innings against Scotland, helping the USA get up to a very comfortable position. Sylvan continuing. So much power, so much timing from Raheem Cornwall. And it goes all the way for 6 as well. But anything this man has touched in this tournament has turned completely to gold.
It's almost humorous watching the fielders running after that ball as if they have a chance. Really, they're just running to where it's going to end up so they can throw it back in.
It was a bold move. That was the delicate touch we saw earlier from Cornwall, but he's showing the power game as well with that big maximum. He's just so special to watch. Much better delivery from Silva. Every time he's attacked the stumps, he's looked like a complete different bowler in terms of the threat that he possesses. We saw that touch earlier. This was the power, though, from Cornwall. 41 maximums now. I'm counting them because there's just so many, leading by a long, long way. Oh, you cannot bowl there. You cannot bowl there because you will pay the price. Full, way too full. And Raheem Cornwall, as he so often does, hits down the ground.
It always impresses me when a guy his size, when a tall batter like that stands so upright and delivers. Oh, look at that shot. That is just beautiful. Not many people have the ability to play a ball like that.
Roy Silva, because he's not the fastest, he's got to be so precise in terms of that length that he bowls. You cannot afford to bowl half volleys or in the slot, as they like to say, to Raheem Cornwall. I just keep wondering how this man does not play more franchise cricket around the T20 leagues. He's just inflicts so much fear in oppositions because of the power. Any boundary in the world he can clear. What a delivery, though. Angling the ball in, getting some away movement, and that is what you will get at this Church Street Park venue. Because of that green grass, you will see seamers get that bit of sideways movement.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. Oh, look at this delivery again. Beautiful. Oh, nope, that's the 6. Great shot there.
Yeah, much improved from Roy Silva. So we saw the maximum, but it was a good comeback from Silva so far in the over to the 2 dots after the maximum.
Yeah, Roy Silva is known as being a wicket taker for Team USA in his years with the team.
Goes pace off. And Raheem Cornwall not wanting to take a risk. He's not to retain the strike because he's going to end the over. He doesn't want to be run out at this stage. End of 4, 35 for 1, 12 from the over. So much at stake in this Southern Division. The Atlanta Fire picked up a real crucial win yesterday against the Morrisville Raptors. And if they win today, they go to 19 points and sit comfortably. They will qualify for the playoffs later today as well. The Raptors against the Lightning. And we'll hear from him very soon, the captain of the Raptors, Dane Pete, who will be joining us in the commentary box for this first match. Knows conditions so well. He's led this team extremely well in the first 12 matches. But they'll want to finish strong and finish with a spot in those playoffs come next weekend. Dan Zahaya continuing.
Yeah, and talking about leaders, you mentioned Aaron Jones' maiden century earlier. I'm really, really happy for him. He's a great leader. He's an excellent cricketer.
Plays that extremely well. Rishi Pandey, mid-wicket was there, but he had no chance. This is good batting from the Atlanta Fire. It's controlled risk-taking, and it's paying off for them so far in this innings.
Pandey looks much more comfortable than he did yesterday. Great shot, very aggressive. Just put it away. It was right there to be hit, and he hit it.
Rishi Pandey, this will be a good return for him. Yesterday's innings was a tad on the slower side, but so far he's showing that he can find the middle of the bat early on in his innings. He wanted to find a single. I don't mind that from young Pandey because you can see the intent. Even though he didn't execute and wasn't able to get Cornwall back on strike, you can see he's looking for that single. I'm going to find it very interesting, Nate, to see where Raheem Cornwall, when he leaves the minor league this weekend and goes to the Caribbean Premier League, where does he bat for the Barbados Royals? They've got tons of batting, some openers as well. Good delivery again by Dan Zahayat. Every time they've been on that sort of line, attacking the stumps, they've looked a better bowling unit. this time he will get through for that single. And it will give Cornwall at least 2 deliveries on strike in this over. Just getting back to that Barbados Royals situation, I've looked at their teams. Cornwall is so dangerous in this power play, Nate. But I wonder, does he open the batting? Do they use him in that position over Quinton de Kock or Kyle Mears, 2 international openers? It'll be interesting. That, of course, starting at the end of the minor league.
Well, I would love to see him open for that. I think that team is one of my favorite CPL teams to follow. Obviously, they have Hayden Walsh Jr., who used to play for USA. He's an excellent person, a very hard worker. So that's one of the teams I really cheer for.
Smith Patel from the U.S., in the U.S., played for that team 2 seasons ago. What a shot from Cornwall. This man just times the ball so well. And even though it hasn't been the most powerful innings to start, he's just showing the versatility in his game, being able to play strokes like that.
I'm a little bit confused as to why they're bowling him at this length. I think they need to pull it back a little bit. He's definitely made them pay.
I think more than the length. The line is very interesting because they've gotten so much success when they've been on the stumps. Dan Zahayat straying wide outside the off stump with point up in the circle. It's too easy for Cornwall. Right there. That's where you want to be if you're Dan Zahayat. At the body. It's something we saw from young Aditya Padala in the last 2 games. Being able to bring that ball back into the big hitter in Cornwall. He gave him problems. And Dane, watch the figures. Cornwall 31. Remember, every time he's passed that 30 mark, this Fire team has not lost a game.
Right, and that ball is a carbon copy of the ball Aditya Padala gave him yesterday. He played it a little differently this time.
Full, but definitely sliding down the legs. Given the finger goes up. I, for one, thought it was sliding down the leg side, but the umpire had other ideas. We'll have to see it on the replay, but that's interesting. Dan Zahayat striking with a slower delivery. Cornwall does come a long way across. Just thought with the angle, may have been going down, but the umpire had other ideas and sent him.
Well, that looks pretty good to me. It looks like it might have hit the leg stump to me. So, yeah, you mentioned he just crossed 30 runs, and now he's out.
In the 5, the Fire lose the important Cornwall, 44 for 2.
One, two, three, yes! Batsman in, guys, batsman in. Hands up, hands up. That's up, good.
The big ball, roll on the stumps now. Yeah. No ball over.
Yeah, it was straight.
Hello and welcome back to Church Street Park. The Atlanta Fire, they're 44 for 2. It's Aman Patel back inside the box. And again, that initial wicket of Rakeem Cornwall, that'll bring out Nasir Hussain.
You're still in it, boys. You're still in it. You're still in it.
And Nasir Hussain, who just started for the Atlanta Fire, played his first match just the other day. 38 runs he scored so far in 2 matches.
You're still good. You're still good.
He was able to take the all-important wicket early yesterday of Vinod Kandaswamy. Will have to show his prowess with the bat, able to score a couple of runs. Joining me in the booth is Mr. Dane Pete, captain of the Morsel Raptors. Dane, how are you doing today?
Yeah, all good. Recovered from a disappointing loss. Alton Tucker Jr. into the attack. After the big wicket of Rakeem Cornwall.
Good lad.
Big wicket indeed. Just take another look at it. Again, you can see it here. A little bit of in movement from Dan Zahayat. It strikes Rakeem Cornwall on the back leg. And the umpire elected to give it out. Again, I think I'm in the same boat as Nick Hill. I just think it might have been sliding down the leg stump. But again, the umpire's decision's final.
Yeah, for sure. I'll plead the fifth, playing later on. I'll reserve my comment. But yes, he's out. It's a big wicket for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. The energy's just gone up in the field, which is really important in the shortest format of the game. They understand a couple of wickets here does change the outlook for them, with Hussain and Hamilton coming in next. It's two big wickets for the Fort Lauderdale Lions if they can sneak through. The pitches looked really good, a lot better than it did last night. So yes, ideal conditions.
This one moved into the leg side. Going to get through the infield, and going to be a couple of runs. Nasser was saying, sending young Rishi Pandey back and getting an all-important partnership. You don't want to see Jamar Hamilton out there too early because, again, you know his big hitting prowess. We welcome you all again, Dane Pete to my left. I'm Om Patel here, and again, we'd love to be at Church Street Park. Exciting weekend ahead. An important weekend in terms of playoff standings. The Atlanta Fire with the win in one of their 2 games. They'll clinch the #1 seed.
Come on!
You just see a little bit of confusion there off of that misfield, but Alton Tucker, he's come back really strong after his initial over. Went for 9 runs.
Yeah, he did. He's bowled beautifully, in my opinion. It's important with the length in T20 cricket, especially in the power play. He's looked really good, and this matchup will favour. You know, Rishi Pandey, he can use his length, vary his pace also, which definitely makes it easier. And this is something that he will favour himself in doing.
Yeah, Alton Tucker would have seen a lot of Rishi Pandey. The 2 youngsters, Rishi Pandey, just 16 years of age. You have Hussain, you have Alton Tucker, part of that under-19 group in the last batch. So those 2 would have seen some of each other, but he's got the ex-Bangladeshi on strike, Hussain. Just staying on the legs. Going to be a single as it's whipped out to the leg side. That'll end the 6th over. The power play ends 48 for the loss of 2 are the Atlanta Fire. If you just take a look at the Manhattan, Rakeem Cornwall just made his presence felt, and you can see in that first over, the 4th over, the tallest tower of them all, just able to put a lot of boundaries away. But since that initial wicket of Cornwall, that's where you see the towers starting to fall a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Wicket always does this in any form of cricket. It's a chance for the batting side to rebuild, but the bowling side's energy is going to be important in this phase of the game. You can hear the chatter within the ring already, knowing that the matchup is favourable for the team, and that's where they're going to zone into right now. Like I said before, this is the man that they'll be after. You can see the way he played last evening was really good, knocked the ball around and exploded at the right time when the run rate just required was about 8.5 and over. So he does lean to all the experience that he has. So again, this is an important part of the game for both teams. I sound like a stuck record, I'm saying that all the time, but this is a really important part. The next pocket of the game, the next 4 overs, 5 overs are going to be important for both sides.
Yeah, the new bowler coming in, it's Manas Parashar. 7 matches, 27 runs and 5 wickets across minor league. And starts off with a full toss and has worked and dispatched into the offside.
Come on!
It'll just be 1 out to sweep recover. They're going to come back for 2. Again, Manas, haven't seen him a lot this season. Haven't bowled quite a bit, but he's going to look to find a length now. Just starting with that full toss. It's far too easy for any bat in the middle.
Yeah, he's bowling in a warm-up jersey, so he doesn't have the playing kit that the rest of the team has, so that you wouldn't have seen a lot of him, but he's got to settle in. Groy Silva would want a good big spell from him right here.
And a quick single taken from those 2, and that's going to be ever so important. Again, oftentimes you see after the Fire lose Rakeem Cornwall, they just struggle to find runs without the boundaries flowing. These 2 making sure the singles keep moving and the dot balls don't keep piling up.
Looks a steady bowler with that delivery. Just going to create the angle. Getting wide of the crease, as you can see.
As this one has just worked away. Another single. Again, speaking of not seeing a lot of Manas, this is only his 2nd match of the season. The first one would have came against your Morsel Raptors. And it wouldn't be a day he wants to remember. You guys put up 225 with Obis Pinar's fastest century in all of minor league cricket. As this one is worked into extra cover. cries of catch it, but it won't matter. It's going to be a 1-bounce 4 all the way down the ground.
It's a great shot by Hussein. Not giving himself room, just relying on the length and the hand speed going through the ball. Growing up in Bangladesh, this is probably a shot that you can wake up at 2 a.m. in the evening or in the morning and play it as comfortably as he did there. He was looking for that. Good, nice and controlled, looking really comfortable, like he's played all minor league season, which is a good sign for the Atlanta Fire.
This time rocks back and unable to get it anywhere. Again, that 4 just makes things real easy for the Atlanta Fire. You mentioned it. Part of that Bangladeshi setup has played international matches for them. Has an international century under his belt as well. So more than capable with the bat in hand. As this time it's swept into the leg side. It's cleared the infield, and it's gonna just find the fielder over there, deep mid-wicket, as they come back for 2 to end the 7th over. A very productive one for the Atlanta Fire. They're 58 for the loss of 2 after 7. Take a look at the batting card. 58 runs on the board. Most of the damage done by Rakeem Cornwall, 31 from 19. And Zain Zayed is playing a hack across the line, undone 4 from 3. But Rishi Pandey, Nasir Hussain, they've had a good partnership so far, kept the boat steady, as Pandey's 10 from 13 and Hussain 11 from 7. You just take a look at the bowling.
Yeah, Alton Tucker Jr. pulling it back nicely. Roy Silva with the early wicket of the captain. And Dan Zayed, loads of experience, getting Rakeem Cornwall with a leg cutter, crashing into leg stump. But yes, I think they'll be happy with the phase of the game where they find themselves at. 8.2 and over. Hasn't ballooned to over 10, 12 and over, which is sometimes gets out of control where the team can't quite get it back. Bit of a mini conference about a bowling change that needs to take place, and looks like a young man. Here's Rakeem Cornwall's dismissal again.
Yeah, again, you just take a look at it. It's that swing in the air that just beats Rakeem Cornwall's bat as he looked to take it into the leg side. A subdued appeal from both wicketkeeper and Dan Zayed, but the umpire felt it's going to crash on to leg stump and just clip it on the way through. It's Atul Iyer who's going to come in to bowl. Special young man in his own right. He's part of an under-19 camp as well, and again, haven't seen a lot of him this year. In his 12 matches, he's taken 4 wickets across minor league cricket, so he's going to need to play a big role here. He's played some games at Church Street Park in the past. He's going to try to take advantage of this turf wicket. This one you can see with the length, Rishi Pandey is going to feel he missed out. The width was on offer.
Initially with some bounce, young Iyer. This is probably going to be a key part of his bowling with the height that he does possess. Bowling in one of the smaller guys in the minor league of 2022, the Toyota minor league 2022, I beg your pardon. But a young off spinner, good to see. Always love an off spinner. I understand the struggles and the joys of being an off spinner.
Oh yeah.
As this one is pushed into the leg side, we welcome everybody into Church Street Park for this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. And the way Rakeem Cornwall was starting, we thought he might have been on the front pages of DAFA News. But Dan Zayed just making sure things got quiet for Atul Iyer. Not a big turner of the ball, but as you mentioned, good bounce with his height. Keeps things nice and tight outside the off stump and just dares the batters to swing around.
Yeah, he settled into a good length. As the games develop,
this one is pulled into the leg side. He's just going to find the fielder. I think he might have actually just found Rishi Pandey's wicket as well. I think he just got it straight to short mid-wicket, and that is going to be the end of Rishi Pandey. He's disappointed with that. Felt it was there to pull, but all he could find was short mid-wicket, and that'll be the 3rd wicket for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, yep, very happy for the young Abdul Iyer, hitting it straight to the big buckets of Dan Zayed at mid-wicket. Slightly on the short side, but a wicket to wicket at the end of the day. Again, that length, you can see Rishi Pandey using his crease to try and create some space to get it over mid-wicket, but unfortunately, into the big buckets of Dan Zayed. Young Rishi Pandey goes for 12 of 16. The Atlanta Fire are now 60 for 3. Peter, I don't mind you in my ear.
Get ready, boys. Get ready.
That wicket of young Rishi Pandey will bring out Jamar Hamilton. He's an explosive bat in his own right. You can see the stats there. 16 matches, 368 runs. Scored a lot in Atlanta, and he's going to have to play pretty much throughout this first innings and try to finish out the 20 overs if the Atlanta Fire want to put up that mammoth total they're looking for.
Yeah, Mr. Hamilton, really good wicket keeper. Been impressed with his hands throughout the competition and played a explosive innings against the Raptors last evening, which was really good to see for the neutral, but not myself. But that's, again, the partnership that Atlanta Fire would want to see going to this, maybe the 16th, 17th over. So 10 overs of good batting here by the two experienced men, both internationals for the West Indies and Bangladesh. So this could be a good challenge again. This is what the minor league does create, Aman. Abdul Aya against really good two international cricketers.
He starts right on off stump, and Hamilton will get off the mark straight away. And as you mentioned, Hamilton yesterday, 23 from 21, more known for his explosive playmaking. As you take a look at the wicket here, Rishi Pandey just rolled the wrist over it, didn't quite get the height he was looking for, and just picked out short mid-wicket. Jamar Hamilton, what he does exceptionally well, he just makes sure there's no dot balls building up. As Hussain just runs this one down, a bit of width on offer. It's a quick outfield here at Church Street Park. Third man gives chase. He's going to be fast enough. But look at this running from the two in the middle. They're going to get 3 from it. It's really good from Jamar Hamilton and Nasir Hussain.
Yeah, good piece of batting. Just knowing that there's only one point in place is a big, big gap. Can see nice touch off the wicketkeeper's gloves. And look at the anticipation by Hamilton, knowing there's 3 on the cards, running the first and second really hard, and just coming back easily for the third, which ticks the score over quite nicely for the Atlanta Fire.
This one cut away through the offside. Going to be 1 out to sweep recover to end the 8th over. Even though a wicket falls, still another good one for the Atlanta Fire. It's 65 for the loss of 3.
If you come here, you can look at it.
1, 2, 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Welcome back to Church Street Park. Fort Lauderdale Lions. They were able to pick up a couple wickets in the previous couple of overs. They're going to go with a change in bowling. Looks like it's going to be Amari Williams to come in with ball in hand. Been a staple for this Lions team, maybe one of the few bright spots on a season that's been awfully dull. It hasn't been amongst the wickets, but someone who keeps it nice and tight. Usually someone who likes to let the ball move around, but he's been brought on at the end of the power play in the later stages of this first half of the first innings.
Yeah, he's got the Lamar Jackson haircut there, man. My beloved Baltimore Ravens that I do support. Hopefully can bring some flair like Action Jackson does bring to the NFL. Like you said, he does keep it contained quite nicely. Known for his batting prowess, but let's see how he goes.
This one is pushed away through the offside. Going to find sweeper cover for 1. Amari Williams can get the ball to move anything like Action Jackson. It's going to be a fun day for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, definitely. They're going with a spin approach. Interesting not to see the young Shoaib Syed in the team. Having taken 4 wickets against the Lauderdale Raptors in Orlando, would have added another spin bowling option to their arsenal. You can see they're using a lot of spin to these guys.
And Hussain, who's just grown up against spin, he's able to use it quite nicely and uses it all the way to the boundary. It's just a stride forward that didn't have to use too much of the power, just timed it to perfection all the way along the ground for 4.
Yeah, over pitched and wide, perfect, just what Hussain wanted. And he could just caress the ball to the left of extra cover, who's on the one in Dan Zayat and beating the sweeper out on the boundary for a well-played 4.
Again wide, again met on the full, and again another boundary to the name of Hussein. It's just far too easy. Loves playing spin, and he gets another 4 for it. Williams just struggling with his length.
Yeah, again, trying to bowl a Yorker by the looks of it. Unfortunately, getting it wrong by a couple of yards. And again, Hussein cruising to 22 of 10 deliveries, making it look real easy, and putting the impetus back onto the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Again, met on the full through the offside. Has he picked the gap again? A good effort, but it's not good enough. It's back-to-back boundaries for Hussein, who's just flying up the runs at the moment. And the Atlanta Fire, they're not slowing down in the slightest.
Yeah, again, yet another full toss, beating Javel Glenn to his left, down and long off. Not an ideal situation that the Lions are finding themselves in. I can tell you now that this is the last 2 balls of his spell for the day, Aman. Unfortunately, just not what the skipper of the Fort Lauderdales would have wanted. Hussein cruising along to 26 of 11. He has not tried anything out of the ordinary, which makes a batter's job really easy.
And that's the thing, haven't seen a rash shot from him yet. Again pushed into the offside. This time the length was better. A bit of a misfield in the infield, gonna allow it to get them back for 2. Gonna really get over this for the Atlanta Fire. Just keeping the runs flowing.
Yeah, at the start of the over, they were just under 8 and over. And all of a sudden, it's ballooned to 9 and over, which the Fort Lauderdale Lions would not have wanted. But with that being said, a wicket here changes the complexion, and it looks at the batting stocks of the Atlanta Fire.
Again through the offside aerial, and it is going to be the wicket of Hussein, who's looking all so good this time. Just got coaxed to chase that delivery. He can't believe it. He was looking so good in such good touch. But Amari Williams, after being expensive, he ends up getting his man.
Yeah, that's an interesting over, to say the least. Again, looking nice and wide, slapped to point. Hussein played a beautiful little innings there, created a lot of momentum. He leaves for 28 of 12 deliveries, and the Atlanta Fire are now 80 for 4.
Batsman in, guys. Batsman in, guys.
And the Atlanta Fire, who have been able to score runs, now just starting to lose wickets in quite a regular fashion. And now is Leap Sowerman, who has come into the middle. Again, Hussein looked so very good. But Sowerman, who is, again, another new addition to this Fire's team. You can see the 5 matches and 46 runs. Hasn't really had the time in the middle that he's wanted. Well, he's coming in the first 10 overs here, and he's going to have to bat through alongside Jamar Hamilton.
Yeah, he's sporting a South African flag on his grip of his bat. I've been living in the US for about 10 years, from which we had a conversation last week. And Cornet Dry did tell me about him. Yes, like you said, he needs time in the middle. As you can see the South African flag, I would know. And all he would need is time in the middle, like you said, Aman. Time to get going, time to get the confidence going. And that there is the multicolored South African flag. The Rainbow Nation, as we affectionately known. Might just break into the South African anthem right now.
And I don't think we'd mind it, Dan. I don't think we would mind it in the slightest. I know Leap Sowerman, he definitely listened to the broadcast if you were to break into it. Here's the wicket, though, of Nasir Hussain. Amari Williams, expensive in the over. Just let one go a little bit wider. Pulled the length back this time. And it was just all Hussain could do was find backward point. So again, went for 15 runs, but did take that wicket. And it looks like it is Atul Iyer, and there seems to be just some kind of delay and some kind of confusion. Jamar Hamilton wanted to get something sorted.
It looks, as you can see, the reflection on his eye, there's a reflection of one of the Dolphin News, Toyota Minor League, and the Sunoco. Sunoco, I beg your pardon, Aman, like you corrected me a few weeks ago. But yeah, that is really important. Like you said, that might make the Dolphin News.
Well, this outside edge is going to race away through third man. And it's going to be 4 runs for Jamar Hamilton. A bit unlucky, Atul Iyer, the youngster, as he comes back in, gave a little bit of width, and Hamilton, when he slashes hard.
Yeah, that important phrase there, slashes hard. That's what you got to do if there's a bit of bounce. Back of a length, Hamilton does favor that ball. As you can see, he was trying to go up aerial anyway. And he gets a boundary that tickles away for yet another 4. The pitch really looks good, Aman. Kudos to Pat, the local curator. Worked hard all week with the rain that was around to get it into this condition. The key that we as cricketers look for is consistency, and there's been all consistency that we've seen, so it's been really good.
This time goes with the Yorker length, but looked to be a little bit of a misfield there. Backward point is squeezed out brilliantly by Jamar Hamilton. It's going to be 4 runs through the offside. And Jamar Hamilton, whether Abdul Iyer goes short, goes full, he's finding the boundary.
I think a message from the captain could be pretty simple to the young man. Just try to bowl the ball on the line of the stumps. He looks for a bit of air. And it's a bit of width. Jamar Hamilton, very, very good to get his hands flowing through the line of the ball to squeeze the ball to the left of the backward point for yet another boundary.
Yeah, the message to Atul from the captain here on the stump mic, take the pace off. This time drags it down short. It's hit through the leg side. Has he got all of it? No, he hasn't. And it's going to find the hands once again. And this another time we've seen a couple of boundaries flow and then a wicket falls. This time it's Jamar Hamilton who has to go. And the Atlanta Fire, while they're 88 runs here in the 10th over, they're down 5 wickets.
Yes, really excited for an off spinner. Even better when he's a young off spinner in Abdul Iyer. Like you said, dropped it slightly short. But long on was all over that. Knowing that the ball's going to come in his region. Very comfortable catch out at long on. And Hamilton goes for 11 of 6 deliveries. The Atlanta Fire now in a bit of trouble at 88 for 5.
Last one here. Let's go. Last one in. That's good.
Well, the Atlanta Fire, after a red-hot start, just in a bit of trouble as Jay Pathak comes into the middle. You see the record, 15 matches, 141 runs across his 2 years in minor league cricket. And is not used to being out this early, I can tell you that. Rakeem Cornwall usually bats through 10 overs. And he's had the likes of Steven Taylor, Aaron Jones. But now, it's that wicket of Jamar Hamilton has brand new bats in the middle, neither of whom have faced a single delivery.
Good Atul, good Atul, good areas.
And Atul Iyer seems to be riding on confidence now, hitting the right areas.
Good areas.
Yeah, just something I've picked up. Yeah, again, having a look at the wicket. Jamar Hamilton not quite getting everything on it.
Oh,
Chopping it down to long off.
Nice,
long on, I beg your pardon. Good piece of bowling by the young Abdul Iyer, using the conditions to his favor. There's a bit more pace than it was last evening. You can see the ball skidding off the surface.
Oh, yeah, stop it.
Those will be the first runs for Leap Sarman, and gets away with a nervy start after that initial one. Just flew by the outside edge, and another good over for both sides, you would say. A wicket falls in it, 10 overs gone, 89 for the loss of 5.
Right on the strike though. Right on the push along off. Get one.
And you just take a look at this batting card. Again, you've seen starts. Rakeem Cornwall, 31 from 19. Rishi Pandey, 12 from 16. Nasir Hussain, 28 from 13. Jamar Hamilton, 11 from 6. But the wickets just falling inconsistent intervals. And you look at the bowling card. Again, you're just seeing wickets for everybody. You're looking at a Thulaider who has 2 wickets in his 2 overs. Amari Williams, after an expensive one, gets a wicket. Danza Hyatt gets a wicket. So does Roy Silva. And we'll have a commentary change as you look at the over-by-over chart. Again, runs still flowing. It's just the wickets falling in the overs. So plenty of runs on the board for the Atlanta Fire at this stage. You're just worried because that 5 to follow the 89. I'm Om Patel here. I'm joined by Nate Hayes, who's once again back. Haven't talked to Nate on a ComBox since July 4th weekend. So Nate, how are you doing today?
And this is great. You know, we get to do this all the time, you and I, and now we get to do it on a premium broadcast, which is absolutely fantastic. This is an amazing setup.
Amazing setup indeed, and again, all the credit goes to production crew and Major League Cricket for setting all this stuff up. As you see Elton Tucker Jr. come back into the attack.
Yeah, it's great to see these youngsters for Fort Lauderdale getting some action today and performing. We saw Ivor taking 2 wickets already. Excellent stuff.
This one is helped into the leg side, just straying in line, Elton Tucker. And he's going to face the consequences. 4 runs and a welcome 4 runs off the bat of Leap Sarman.
Yeah, there was a little bit of criticism about Elton Tucker Jr. during the selection camp for U19, that he tends to miss his spots a little bit too much, a little bit too many times every over. If he can get a little bit more accurate, maybe miss just once an over, it will really go a long way.
He missed it there, and it leaked 4 runs. And again, for Elton Tucker Jr., if you can keep that one on off stump, you're going to have a lot of success. This one well too far outside, and as you mentioned, just misses his spot a couple too many times, and it feels at times he tries to do too much with the ball.
We saw that first over with Rakeem Cornwall. First 2 balls, he was a little bit sloppy. He got hit for 10 runs, but the next 4 balls were all dots from him. So he does have, when he does have a little bit more control, he is very effective.
This one did strike the pad, maybe some bat involved as well, but again, that's a better delivery there, creating Leap Sarman to come forward. And again, just take a look at this. Goes full, goes straight.
Relax and come down with it. Nice and easy.
Not sure if that had bat involved, and if it didn't, it looked pretty good.
Ball.
Again, now Elton Tucker's trying to find his areas. Just creates a single there.
Sarman's going to want to rotate strike, get himself in some kind of rhythm. He seems a little bit out of whack right now.
Yeah, again, for Sarman, he hasn't got a lot of time to spend in the middle. Again, a late acquisition for the Atlanta Fire. But he is ever so important part with both bat and ball.
Well, at this point right now, he's very important. 95 for 5. They've got just over 9 overs to bat.
Yeah, just mark it, say no.
Yeah, and again, welcome everybody who's tuning in. It's myself, Om Patel, to my left, Nate Hayes, and again, love having Nate with me, a good buddy of mine. You can catch us on the MLC Network doing the Emerging Player of the Week every single week, and it might be someone from Church Street Park.
Ira's got a great chance right now.
He's competing with the Athindra Subramaniam, who you seen yesterday, taking wickets.
And we're going to see more of Athindra today for certain for Atlanta.
Yeah, again, that is the brilliance of minor league cricket. You get to see all this youth influx with all of these former international players, and it's just a great learning tool for all cricketers in the USA. This one is pulled into the leg side, but nowhere to go for Jay Pathak, who, another member who hasn't seen a lot of time in the middle.
Right, and Elton Tucker Jr., who we talked about, is struggling a little bit with accuracy. Now he has to deal with a left-handed batter.
See the airplane fly across. You'll see that pretty consistently here at RDU, but it's a great delivery that to end the over for Elton Tucker. Flies through the over, 11 overs gone, 95 for the loss of 5.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What's up, Dad? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
And Here we go back at Church Street Park. You see Jay Pathak on your screen. Not off two to start off his day, and again, going to want to get things going quickly. Lieb Sarman now on your screen. He'll be facing Atul Iyer. He's taken 2 wickets in his 2 overs. And he's just been probing outside Lieb's off stump. This is the second time he's beaten him in that same area. Atul Iyer, he's riding on confidence. Haven't been given the ball most of this season. Getting an opportunity now. This time, bat on ball, just away from short cover. They're going to think about 2. They're going to settle for 1. And it'll bring the left-hander on a strike.
Might have been a good idea to try to squeeze 2 right away off of that, so that you keep the right-hander on.
And again, Atul Iyer in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. Been given the ball in inconsistent fashions and hasn't always performed with it in hand, but today he's taken 2 wickets and he's going to be a key figure. He's going to bowl out all 3, and you could out all 4, and you could expect him to bowl his last 2 on the trot. Don't expect them to hold him for much later in this match.
He's definitely going to attack here with the left-hander Pathak batting.
And what a start for Atul Iyer. You can see just the round arm action and the nature of that delivery angling in. And again, not a huge turner, but just creates that doubt in Jay Pathak's mind that one could just straighten up. Again, full, again, in that Yorker length, and again, nowhere to go for Jay.
Very good bowling right here from Iyer. He has sensed a little bit of trepidation from Pathak, and he's attacking it.
And again, Atul Iyer, who started pretty inconsistent on the day, has now really found the length he wants to bowl, the lines in which he wants to bowl. And that is something wickets do to a young man. It just fills you up with confidence. Again, just take a look at where he's bowling this delivery. Right on that Yorker length, and all Jay Pathak can hope to do is dig it out. And again, nowhere for Jay Pathak, and dot balls are so big in T20 cricket. He's just bowled 4 in a row to end the 12th over. It's 96 for the loss of 5.
We have had a big swing in momentum right here, thanks to these young bowlers, Iyer especially.
Yeah, and again, this is a surface. It's got a little bit in it for everybody. You can see the greenery, so there is some swing on offer. We've already seen that early today, and there's a couple of patches that can just create that little bit of spin. Because it is the same surface as yesterday, you just think there might be some wear and tear.
Yeah, nice and green so that it can last the weekend. We both know that Church Street Park is a very neutral wicket. You can have a big innings here with the bat if you do the right things. You can have a big innings with the ball, especially if your opponent does the wrong things.
Yeah, 160, again, is about average here, but we've seen a lot of scores defended. Yesterday's match, where there's only 130 on the board, was still pretty tight. Even it went to the final over. It felt the Atlanta Fire had control all the way through, but you can still fight with any score here at Church Street Park.
Absolutely. Runs on the board, they mean an awful lot here.
And it's Ryan Prasad who's going to come in to bowl for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Again, not a face we've seen much of through this tournament.
No, but he did play with, I believe, the Jamaica Talawas in the CPL. He was selected a couple years back. He also is in the Hollywood business.
But with that hairstyle and that look, gotta be, as this one is pushed away through the offside, gonna be 1. You saw the graphic a minute ago, 4 matches, just the 1 wicket for him. Again, not a lot of opportunities he's received, but I think for Fort Lauderdale, they're just trying to see what they have in the dugout. And again, he almost has that half mullet, which is starting to come back in style here, Nate Hayes.
Yeah, very Australian of him.
Ryan. Good start, Ryan.
Well, you know, I think it looks good. It looks nice and aggressive, I guess.
Coming right time round to you.
Ryan Prasad is going to want to make a mark again. It's almost like a test for him, trying to buy his selection. Fort Lauderdale. That's all this weekend is. Not much for them to play for. They can play spoiler a little bit against Atlanta Fire, who they'll play twice. But really, it's just about emptying the tank and seeing what you have on the roster.
Well, that's exactly right. If I'm Fort Lauderdale, look at that beautiful view there of the ground and that. Look at that nice little plane. But yeah, if I'm Fort Lauderdale, I'm trying to find out what my playing 11 is going to be next season, what my top 11 guys are going to be next year, or how many of them I have in this team right now.
Yeah, another disappointing year for Fort Lauderdale. They're just looking for the gems, and look at this shot from Lieb Sarman, as straight as you like. Just a touch too full and a touch straying down the leg side. Lieb Sarman clears the front foot, sends it straight back, and just eases that pressure that was building. 4 runs for the Atlanta Fire.
Yeah, that'll ease some of the pressure there. We haven't seen a lot of batters this weekend so far comfortable against spin. That one just over pitches. Wasn't that hard of a shot for Lieb.
Yeah, again, we know he's a quality bat, just hasn't got the time in the middle. Today, looking to make the most of his opportunity. Makes a little bit of room, sends it straight back down the ground. Has he got all of it? No, he hasn't. And the simplest of catches and a little dance out in the deep as that wicket falls. And again, we've seen this time and time again in today's match. A couple of boundaries, this time one for Lieb Sarman, and the wicket immediately follows.
Yeah, I just said that he was relieving a little bit of pressure, but he's now put an awful lot more pressure on the Atlanta Fire.
And the 100 came up with that shot previous. This time, made a little bit of room, tried to send it over the offside, but all he could do was pick out the man in the deep, and you can see the little dance. The Fort Lauderdale Lions, they're not going to have fun. They're going to have as much fun as they can. And as he goes for 12, Lieb, the score moves to 102 for the loss of 6.
Fort Lauderdale are going to hope JaVale Glenn continues to have fun. He has a century already in his young career. He's really come alive this season. He didn't produce terribly well last year. This year, he's been absolutely fantastic from time to time.
Again, a lot of good cricketers on offer. It's Salman Khan Safi, who's come in and, again, just not been given many opportunities. You can see 6 matches, 6 runs, and this is a lower order that hasn't really been tested at the Atlanta Fire because of the likes of Stephen Taylor, Aaron Jones, and Rakeem Cornwall. All these batters just getting a little bit of a taste out in the middle.
Safi with the backwards ball cap on underneath the helmet. That is quite a look there. There's a Sherlock Holmes for you.
Well, maybe needs to bring that helmet size down a bit. This time is cut through the offside there. Should just be 1 run, and we'll get to see Safi.
Yeah, that hat backwards, probably protecting the back of his neck.
Just take a look at this wicket. Again, Lieb trying to go over the top, just hit a 4 the ball before. And again, the Fort Lauderdale Lions, even though they're out of the playoff race, they're not going to sit back and not have fun. This one, delicate hands, run through 3rd man. Should at least be a couple of runs, a dive put out, and we'll keep it to just 2 runs there.
Well, that was a serious dive.
And that'll end the 13th over. It's 105 for the loss of 6.
Gone. Yeah, 4. Yeah? We can't split them up.
And you look at the batting card, everyone's gotten off to a start today. It's just the wickets falling in quick succession. Rakeem Cornwall, 31 from 19. Rishabh Pandey, 12 from 16. Nasser Hussain, 28 from 13. 11 from 6 for Jamar Hamilton. And Lieb Sarman, 12 from 12, the latest to go.
And Roy Dyer still yet to come in. He can really hit the ball if he needs to. Emil Alfonso is underrated bat, if you ask me. And then obviously the youngster, Tinder Supermanian.
And again, you look at the bowlers, they're just emptying the cart with the ball. They've used a ton of options so far, but every option producing wickets. Atul Iyer with 2, Amari Williams with 1 off his expensive over. Ryan Prasad just gets 1 in his first over. Roy Silva, Danza Hyatt with a pair of their each.
And how about Elton Tucker Jr. only allowing 6 runs off of his last 15 balls, I think? Actually, 16 balls.
There you go. Again, he started off expensive, but everyone starts off expensive to Rakeem Cornwall. But ever since that wicket's been gone, he's been on the money. And look at this from Atul Iyer. That time slowed it down, and he's probing right outside that off stump. And he seems to love having the left-handed Jay Pathak on strike.
Too wide, no. Right, good.
Yeah, nice delivery there. Stayed straight. The question is in their minds when the ball is nice and flighted.
This time going down the legs. It's helped off of his pads there from Jay. Has that deep backward square fielder out there, does Atul Iyer. And he'll bring the right-hander back on to strike. Again, Safi has just played the one delivery. And hasn't batted much this season either, so he's looking to spend some quality time in the middle. But if you're the Atlanta Fire, you've put up a lot of runs already, but you want to make sure you get to that 160 point, and the rate the wickets are falling, doesn't seem you're going to bat out 20 overs.
Well, I think you really want to survive these next couple of overs of spin.
Well, he doesn't want to survive. He wants all of it, but I don't think he's quite got it. And another simple catch. Safi was looking to take Atul Iyer on, and in Atul Iyer's final over, he gets his third wicket in a very similar position out there at long on.
Yeah, just I think a little bit unnecessary, especially when you've had Iyer performing so well. We know economy leads to wickets. Good economy leads to wickets as far as spin bowling is concerned.
Yeah, you just take a look at this once again. It's flighted up, and Safi wanted it. It was high off the bat, but all he could do was pick out that long on fielder who's had very safe hands today, taking everything out there. And Safi has to go for just 2 from 2 deliveries. It's 106 now for the loss of 7.
Safi may be a little bit used to the Atlanta cricket fields, where the straight boundary is a lot shorter than it is here at Church Street Park. You really have to know that you're going to clear that boundary in order to go for it here.
And you make a very good point there. Because of the fact that in Atlanta the straight boundaries are shorter, we've seen a couple of wickets already for them trying to hit straight. Think of Leap Sarman, who just got out. We've already seen a couple of catches to long on. Square boundaries in Atlanta, the bigger ones. So we've seen the Fire try to go straight, but that'll bring out Amila Aponzo. 25 matches across minor leagues, 73 runs, and you say he's an underrated bat here, and he's going to need to be that underrated bat that's going to pop off the scene for the Atlanta Fire.
It is.
Yeah, batting first has been a curse so far this weekend, with Atlanta basically crumbling. When I left the comms box, they were doing really well. They had a couple of excellent overs from there.
Atul Iyer, he's been on the money, hasn't wavered, and you mentioned it when you and Nick Hill were in the comm box. They were just fine, so they might credit their collapse to me and Dane Pete. They thought you coming back might be something, but as soon as you come back, this wicket falls as well. Again, just trying to go down the ground, bigger straight boundaries, and all he could do was find the hands. And Atul Iyer, he's been so sharp, and it looks like he is going to finish this over off on a high.
Finish up.
Yeah, he's got one more ball to go.
Finish up, buddy.
But they're bowling a little bit fuller of a length today and getting results than they were yesterday.
This time pulls the length back, it's pulled. It's just going to be a couple of bounces out to Atul Iyer, who fields it off his own bowling. A really good spell for young Atul Iyer. In his 4 overs, just gave up 19 runs, took 3 wickets as well. Going to be in the conversation for Emerging Player of the Week. 14 overs gone. It's 107 for the loss of 7.
Yeah, Amin, we spend an awful lot of time talking about emerging players in this league. It's one of my favorite aspects. But yeah, take a look at the over-by-over chart. You can see 2 of the last 3 overs have been very, very good for Lauderdale.
Yeah, and courtesy of, again, emerging players, Atul Iyer and Elton Tucker Jr. They're the reasons these overs have just started to get a little bit quieter, but you can still see tall towers in between everything. It's just the rate the wickets are falling. You're still seeing overs be majority above 6 runs, but the wickets in every over just going to cause the Atlanta Fire a little bit of trouble as they head into the latter stages of this innings. Again, we're here in the 15th.
Yes,
And Jay Pathak finally gets some runs flowing for him. Going to get one, and he'll bring Amila Aponzo on to strike.
Once again, Prasad with that glorious mullet. It kind of makes sense, you know, if Florida is maybe the Australia of the USA?
Well, that's an interesting take there, Nate Hayes. I'm not sure. You might have to explain that one to me.
Yeah. Hey.
Awesome.
I'm just joking there.
I'm not sure you can call anywhere in the USA the Australia of it. I think Australia is so unique in its own right. They just don't have that place in the USA. We have beautiful Church Street Park, which we're grateful to have and see this amazing weekend of cricket. A second match still to be played today. A couple matches later in the day. And again, you can just see all of the great action taking place here at Church Street Park.
Yeah, Liam Plunkett actually compared this ground to a very good club ground in Australia, actually, which is, you know, a big compliment.
So maybe Church Street Park's the closest thing to Australia in the USA, Nate. This one is pulled away. Has he got all of it? Yeah, don't ever doubt it. That was going to be a boundary off the bat all the way through. And what a shot that is. Huge and much needed to ease some of that pressure off. And Jay Pathak, who's just been sitting and watching, this time gets one of the biggest of the day.
Looked very hesitant up until there to play anything too aggressive. There's, wow, that was a beautiful shot.
Yeah, again, they got to get up to that 160 point, and Jay Pathak, he's going to need a couple more shots like that. That one almost returning out to that team dugout over there. There's a little bit of a workout area. He sent it all the way into there, saying everyone who wants to hit like me, get into that area, start lifting some weights.
Yeah, and we talk about how beautiful this ground is, but it's also a public park. So we often measure the distance of a six based on what it hits or what it lands near. Last year we saw Bhaskar Yadrin hit one to the tennis courts, which is seems like every bit of 120 yards.
Yeah, rarely see a well left in the 15th over of a T20 as this one is pushed into the offside. But Jay Pathak, he's just trying to see his side to that 20 over mark. You can now bring Amila Alfonso, who again Nate Hayes has said underrated bat. And you can see again the planes overhead and Amila Alfonso on strike. Just chasing that one, but it's deemed wide there from the umpire, and free runs for the Atlanta Fire.
Still good.
Yeah, after just hitting a six, a couple balls back, you know they're gonna take every extra run they can get. But
this one, they're gonna push for that extra run, and they're gonna go and test the arm for two. They're gonna get it quite comfortably in the end, and for the Fire, it's ever so more important to get these ones, get these twos, and they're gonna end the 15th over, 119 for 7, as we'll see a change in the comm box.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Five overs remain. Things pretty balanced at this stage. The Fort Lauderdale Lions are in a good position. They've taken 7 of the Atlanta Fire wickets. A team coming in on a high after yesterday's win against the Morso Raptors. Roy Silva, the captain, is going to come back into the attack. And speaking about the Morso Raptors, the captain alongside me, Dane Pete. Dane, welcome to the commentary box yet again.
Thanks, Nikhil, for the warm welcome. Lead me to the promised land, young man. Yes, you mentioned Atlanta Fire, 119 for 7 after 15. We just had a little bit of a chat off air outside the amazing production truck about how the Atlanta Fire, in my opinion, just looked like they've dropped their intensity a little bit, and it shows in the scorecard. So it's important to sort of, you know, lift the intensity with the 3 wickets in hand. And now Amila is quite handy with the bat as well as Pathak. So this is going to be an important part of the last 5 overs of the innings.
I think they'll be disappointed with the way that they've gone about things because they've just looked so comfortable at times and then just thrown it away. You look at the wicket of Jamar Hamilton, Liam Sauerman, two of their main components in the middle order. They've really struggled to just get that bit of momentum. Partnership so important, as we saw from them last night in that chase of 130. Right outside the off stump. Has to rebowl that. Roy Silva. Now, Dan, talk to me about proceedings. We've had 15 overs. First of all, the decision. It's the first time you're in the commentary box this weekend. Yesterday, we saw Zain Saeed winning the toss, bowling first. Today, he batted first. What do you make of the surface and that decision?
Yeah, I mentioned it with the man earlier. The surface looks really good. Kudos to Pat, the curator of Church Street Park. He's done a great job. The sun's helped it bake a little bit, as we say in cricket. And the consistency looks a lot better than it did last evening. Again, it's a day game, so to win the toss and bat first, it's a good tactic to do. And yeah, the surface looked really good, as you mentioned yesterday in your fantastic pitch, the pitch report about the grass covering. So it's going to stay together. It's going to stay nice and compact. A lot of rolling will happen over the weekend. So by the end of Sunday afternoon, hopefully the Raptors are through to the playoffs. It will be a cracking cricket pitch.
Good way to sneak that in there, Dan, and tell you the Marshall Raptors in action later today in a very important game against the Atlanta Lightning, as they'll be looking to qualify for those playoffs. Now, this Fort Lauderdale Lions team, Dan, is a team that defeated your Raptors. Interesting group and the way that they've gone about the season, because they've only won 3 games, but they've managed to beat yourselves, and it's been a pretty interesting road for them. Where do you think they've gone wrong, looking at the way that they've played and sort of the results?
Yeah, the big thing for me is the consistency of your roster. They made a lot of changes. And unfortunately, the continuity didn't quite go to the way that they wanted to. But again, they have loads of experience in Roy Silva. And there's a lot of players, Javal Glenn, that could contribute. They look for big performances. But they did play an exceptionally good game against us, chasing down 129 in 14 overs in Fort Lauderdale, which is a great chase. Roy Silva played beautifully. So it was a tough game, but it was our first game of the competition. So hopefully, you know, next year they can reassess on where they need to go.
Dane Pete, former South African international player, join us in the commentary box. This run rate has been pretty much over that 7.5 mark from the very onset. But the Fire have lost 7 wickets. It's been a real troublesome period for them. You mentioned at the beginning of your stint, Dane, the lack of intensity. How often do we see really this game for the Fort Lauderdale Lions is consolation when you think about the fact that they're last, they won't be able to make those playoffs, yet still the Fire, after beating them once, are struggling, chipped up in the air, but over that extra cover fielder. Fortunate for Jay Pathat. How often do we see that in the game of cricket, where it's still an important game? And of course, I think the Raptors will be happy if the Fire can make this a low-scoring game, net run rate purposes.
Yeah, that's spot on. Well put. I think in your pitch report yesterday you mentioned an average total of 168, if I'm not mistaken, which over the last July 4th weekend that we played here, the Cricket Carnival, was a good pitch. But at the end of the day, it's important how they execute these last couple of overs. And yes, ideally be a low-scoring game that the Fort Lauderdale Lions would, you know, want to compete and want to have that low-scoring sort of game. But again, it's all dependent on how they close out this particular over, which they did do, and they're now 128 for 7.
As we speak about the surface, you factor in yesterday's performance from your team batting first. We were only able to get to 129. That's now taken the par score. We'll get back to that in the next over. 128 for 7. Back here at Church Street Park. Then I was making the point in the previous over. After yesterday's 129, it's now taken the par score here over the course of the 2 seasons. well, actually, sorry, in 2022 alone to 163 in the 8 matches played at Church Street Park. But in 2021, we saw a lot lower totals in that semi-final. We saw 125 being posted, just 140 in the final. What do you think has changed in terms of the surface that's allowed it to be more prolific in terms of run scoring? Down the height into the attack.
Good try, good try, good try. Good try, Ryan. Good try.
The great work by the curator, as I mentioned, in Pat, the understanding of what is required to produce a good cricket wicket. I spent a couple of mornings at 7 a.m. walking my son around the Church Street Park and spending time with Pat and just understanding what he needs to do at this beautiful venue, as you can see. And he gave me an understanding of how the pitch, of how much he's learned to try and get this pitch in good condition. And like you said, it's a vast difference to 2021 to 2022. And us cricketers speak about consistent bounce that we want to get, and that's what he's produced. So, again, he's done a fantastic job, and it's only going to get better with the more experience that the curator, Pat, has.
Well, then I'm definitely looking forward to picking your brain in the next innings when we have a lot of off-spin into the attack, yourself being an off-spinner, but Nasser Hossain, Raheem Cornwall, we saw both very well yesterday. They were able to run through that more so Raptors side for just 129 runs. But today, the Fire, they're at 130, but they want to bat this full quota of overs. Still 3 remaining after this. And even though they haven't really struck boundaries in this period, it's important that they sort of build a partnership. Something that we saw from your team yesterday, you didn't bat the full quota. How much do you think those 13 balls that you left out there hurt you in the end?
Massively, as you can see at the end of the game. You don't have that, that luxury of giving a bad over, which of course we wouldn't want to give a bad over in any way, but a low total like that, you don't have that luxury of, taking a risk here or there. You got to be precise in your bowling changes, and at the end of the day, it let us down. We batted 17.5 overs, if I'm not mistaken, which at the end could have got another 20 runs, which 150 would have been quite a difficult chase with our bowling attack.
Manas, stay 5.
I think
five off.
The Atlanta Fire will want to do is ensure that he can make every run so vital, because they know that they've restricted this Fort Lauderdale Lions team in the past. 2 is the call.
Well done, Tucker. Well done, Tucker.
Have to hurry.
Well done, well
Back
done.
in the end.
Good work,
You mentioned
lad.
the way that the Lions have batted in this tournament. They've really been in and around that 120 mark. Highest total being 218 in one game against the Orlando Galaxy. But other than that, they've struggled to pass that 140 region. Your team restricted them to 117 just a weekend ago. So the Fire will need to know that. What's a good total looking at it from here? 3 overs remaining after this. Should just be 1 to end the over. I want to get your thoughts on that good first innings total in the next over. 134 for 7. Well, a look at how close this Southern Division has been. Dane, final weekend of the group stages. How good for the game of cricket and the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship to have 3 teams this neck and neck in this weekend and in this division.
Yeah, just fantastic. I mean, the team have been speaking about how good the competition has been, and as you can see, 3 teams clustered right on top of the Southern Conference. It's going to be good viewing, especially the next game. It's 2 competitive teams that are going to try and fight it out for the point. Josh Dascombe,
man of many talents, many talents. He told me he's putting on a masterclass in terms of the scoring. It's a proper team man, and one of the main men responsible for putting on fantastic events like this weekend in and weekend out.
Yeah, really good man. Met him in October of 2020. Came down to Washington, D.C., where I was put down, located first. Like you said, a man of many talents. Alton Tucker Jr. bowled beautifully today. Best I've seen him bowl, the young man. Again, maybe the ground has lifted his intensity to compete as well as he's done today.
Now tell me about this angle. We've seen both to the left-hander and the right-hander in Cornwall at the beginning of the innings. He likes to bowl from around the wicket. We saw your teammate Jacobus Pinar do similar. Why is it that left-arm spinners like to bowl from around the wicket?
Just the angle as they're trying to stay out of the hitting arc of the left-hander. As you can see there, Patak not known for hitting the ball through the offside. With the way he taps down, you can see a big bottom hand in his left hand tapping the bat down. So he doesn't have that ability to open the face of the bat to hit through the offside. It's a good tactic by the young Alton Tucker Jr. He's tucked him up, excuse the pun, of, you know, bowling the ball around and trying to limit the angle to hit the ball through the leg side, which has been really, really good.
Please don't excuse any puns in this commentary box, Dane. We love puns.
I'm a dad now, so dad jokes work.
We love the heat that's being put on by these two teams. Now that is a real pun because the Atlanta Fire, for those at home that may need some clarification. But I've got a few more planned for the next innings. Trying to take on this bowling, Jay Patak hasn't really found the middle of the bat consistently. It's been a struggle for him, but the main thing is that at a time where they're losing wickets, he's playing a decent innings for his side. He would have come in at that number 7 position. Yeah, number 7, 88 for 5 the score was. He's got him to 136. Emilio Ponzo, we know yesterday we saw him hit a few out the ground. He can strike. They still have Everett Dyer. It's a team that has a lot of that depth in terms of power hitting. No Cornwall dry, of course, this weekend.
It's bowled beautifully, the young man. Very good to see. Again, Emilio Ponzo, loads of international experience.
Love it, lad. Love it,
and it's fantastic, fantastic piece of bowling by the young man. I'm really impressed with the way he's gone about it.
Catch him yourself.
Straight back down the ground. Emilio Ponzo has hit that well. It's a quick outfield. It's been coming for a long time from Ponzo. He's finally sized one up and he's got one to the boundary.
Good shot. When we're saying cricket, always look to hit straight, which Emilio Ponzo has done. He's aimed straight and he's whacked it straight over the bowler's head, over the umpire's head. And a couple of bounces and it's trickled over the boundary for a crucial 4 that takes it to 140 for 7. Are now the Atlanta Fire.
It was interesting. I had a look at the surface this morning. I did see some of those cracks beginning to open up. It is a hot day. Ponzo pulls this one again. There is a man in the deep, but he has no chance. A really good end to the over for the Atlanta Fire after what was such a good spell from Alton Tucker Jr. Keeping it to just 2 runs in the over. It ends with 8 in 2 boundaries. 144 for 7. Well, the Church Street Park venue, fantastic facility in this Atlantic Conference. And that 9th over being a big one for the Fire. They have lost their way through the middle. Overs 10 to 15. They did lose a couple of wickets. And it's pegged them back, but so far so good as they've been able to up the ante with this partnership between Ponzo and Jay Patak. Now we're 38 runs coming at a crucial time. Danza Hyatt will come back into the attack. Not the quickest, but he has bowled well. He's taken that big weight of Raheem Cornwall as well. Good to see some fans trickling in. Have heard a lot about this venue, Dane, in terms of the support that the Raptors and other teams get. Expect a big crowd in tonight.
Yeah, hopefully. The weather's been good. We had a couple of days of rain, which did dampen the spirits of the local Morrisville people. But like you said, they love their cricket here. No matter who's playing, they'll come out and support.
Deep mid-wicket in place, just be a single. Well, come back for 2 actually, Jay Patak. It is a big square boundary. Did see this a couple of times yesterday where batters attacking that boundary and trying to get those doubles in.
Yeah, you could hear the wicketkeeper telling the fielders to get 5 off, which means five paces off the boundary to sort of eliminate the 2. But unfortunately, not swift enough to stop that 2. But good awareness by the batters.
Coming a long way across his stumps to Jay Patak. Almost took out Emilio Ponzo in the process. Yeah, the one thing getting back to the crowd, I noticed they love to come to this venue because they've been treated to some real thrilling matches. That super over that your team and the Philadelphians was involved with earlier. Even last night, a low-scoring affair which came down to the last couple of overs.
Yeah, they've been a couple of shows. The Somerset Cavaliers, we won on the last ball of the game. The Philadelphians, as you mentioned. But yeah, there's a big Indian population or community within Morrisville region or the Research Triangle. So they do come in and support. They love the cricket here. And it's always good to have families and you know, loads of kids coming in, even on training days. You were here on Wednesday, I think it was, where a lot of families were walking around the ground. And it's good to see that, especially in the US. It's a great facility, like you said. It's cricket heaven, like you said at the start of the broadcast.
Seeing some Atlanta Fire fans in the crowd as well. Good to see that they've made the 6-hour journey from Atlanta for this minor league. I think the way it's taken off in terms of support this season has been magnificent. Just to see how much people have enjoyed it. In that Philadelphia Cricket Festival, at least 1,500 people there in attendance. And last night it was really impressed, even on a Friday night, a working day. And it really sets things up nicely for tonight. In a game where the Raptors will want to win to qualify for the playoffs, the Lightning have got to win. Down the leg side. Beats everything and everyone, and it will be a costly 5 wides. We did see this on a couple of occasions yesterday. Carrying over into today's game. Extra so pivotal as the 150 comes up.
Yeah, just unfortunate. Danzai trying to close the over out. Emilio Ponzo creeping across his crease. A man as experienced as Hyatt wouldn't be happy with that delivery. But a team that would be happy would be the Atlanta Fire. Getting 5 runs added to their total, which takes them over the 150 mark. In my opinion, a good enough score to win the game at Church Street Park with their bowling prowess that they do have. Young Atindra, Emilio Ponzo, Rakeem Cornwall.
Well, from 96 for 5 after 12 overs, I think the Atlanta Fire will be very happy, yes, with the 150 total, but also the fact that their low order has shown some grit, some determination to get them past that 150 mark. We know that power score being around 165 to 170, but I think against a weakened Lions side, they'll bat themselves, the Fire. What would it mean to them going into the playoffs if they can win today, win tomorrow, and go in on the back of 3 wins? Topping the Southern Division, they're currently up top. Slower delivery. Has he got enough on it? It is a big boundary. Javal Glenn, he's a good fielder. And he puts it down. It was never easy having to run that far across to his right. Got there in the end though. Did the hard part, but just wasn't able to hold on. A good way to end the over. 157 for 7, 1 remaining. A lot of ground to cover. Got there, had to pull out the dive. Just went straight through the breadbasket.
Yeah, it's difficult. The hardest catch in cricket as you sprinting across the ball to the line of the ball. Your head just bobbles up and down. Your hands on it never really still, as well as your head. As you can see, he just reached out too far across the ball, and it passed his hand. But I mean, like you said, he's a really good fielder, good athlete. Is Javal Glenn. Dan's Hyatt probably just pointing at the angle that Javal Glenn was at, because that did go down long on sort of region. But again, it's the small margins that kind of change these games. A wicket there would have been really good going into the last over. But in my opinion, the Fire would be targeting 170 for the Lions to chase. So that's 13 runs in this over. But again, they have an experienced man, a former US international in Roy Silva,
who has gotten
bowling
runs.
the last over.
Yeah, not to cross you, Dane. Roy Silva has gotten runs against this Atlanta Fire bowling attack. Picked up 49 in the very first game of the season. And also, how much will they take from the fact that you look at this venue, games, the 24 T20s played over the 2 seasons, 14 of them won by teams chasing. How much do you think that will play in the favor? And why is it that teams like to chase and have chased successfully more often than not on this venue?
Yeah, it's a big ground, which means chasing does become a lot easier. The pitch does not break up as much as people expect it to because of the nature of the heat. So it does slab up as we go in with some cricket jargon. It does slab up, which means it does get nice and hard.
That's the wicket. Jay Pathak, he was looking to up the ante in this final over. And just a straight delivery. We have seen this from Roy Silva. When he's attacked the stumps, he's been very successful in this innings. But it's been a good contribution from Pathak. Hasn't batted much this tournament for the Atlanta Fire. Looking to go big, and actually is stumping. Easy in the end. Pathak well out of his ground.
It's a great piece of bowling, great piece of wicket keeping, great piece of cricket by the Fort Lauderdale Lions. And Pathak goes for a well played 27 of 31 deliveries. The Atlanta Fire now 158 for 7.
Let's get set here, boys.
Everett Dyer comes to the middle. And he can really strike a few. We saw him for the Atlanta Lightning last season. He was able to hit a few big blows. Can he finish the innings off? Get them to that 165, which is a very competitive total. Yeah, it's always an interesting proposition, the way that teams have chased the Drew factor, something that we'll see come into play in the evening matches. I just love the proposition of having night cricket. How difficult is that to mitigate as Everett Dyer comes to the middle?
Yeah, it's obviously quite difficult because the spinners do struggle with the grip of the ball, and that also does aid the ball to skid on, which makes it easier for batting. You like the ball to come onto the bat.
Big swing and a miss. Did he get another stumping? No, just down in time, Everett Dyer. Keeper is up to the stumps. This is the wicket again, Dane.
Yeah, again, a little bit of an off-cutter. Pathak getting drawn into the shot, not being able to get back to the crease. Great piece of wicket keeping, dislodging the bails. Love seeing that. It's a neat piece of cricket.
Saw a lot from Lahira Malanta, who's been electric behind the stumps for the Morrisville Raptors. Last night he was brilliant, whether it's a seam, whether it's a spin. Such a good player who's been in the runs as well.
Best wicketkeeper in the country, in my opinion, is Lahira Malanta. Not that he's my teammate. If he played for the DC Hawks or the Fort Lauderdale Lions or the Somerset Cavs, doesn't matter. He's really good hands.
2 is the call. Alfonso wants 2. He's going to have to hurry.
Well done, Kieran.
Everett Dyer is quick. And had he collected cleanly, Roy Silva, he would have been gone by a long way. Had to get Alfonso back on strike. He's been there for a while.
Good work, Kieran.
I think he's really shown his all-round ability, Emilio Alfonso, in these last couple of games for this team. 22 from 15 is a valuable contribution. Would have been out by a long way. Not even in the picture.
Tanzania just clapping to the piece of fielding out there. Kieran did a fantastic job, as you heard the keeper in the stump mic complimenting his fielding, saying good work, Kieran. I do echo that. Good piece of fielding. That's what sets the standards. But yes, there's the young man behind the stumps. Good piece of glove work, nice and neat with dislodging Pathak stumps. Bails.
And here's another one, another dismissal for the keeper. Morgan, he's been neat behind the stumps, never easy keeping up to the seamer. Down the leg side, whips off the bails to end the innings. A very good last over for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Just conceding the 4 runs, taking 2 wickets. But importantly for the Atlanta Fire, they've got up to that 161, which you think is around par, and it should be a good total.
Yes, very, very good score. Eventually getting it, like you mentioned, they were 92 for 5 after 12 overs. Creeping over to the 161 mark, which they will be happy with, knowing what they have in the bowling stocks. But a great performance by both teams, in my opinion. Good competitive first 20 overs, which both teams will be kind of happy with.
Well, really, it was a roller coaster ride for the Atlanta Fire in this innings. Started off so well in that power play. Were able to get 35 from the first 4 overs, and then they lost Cornwall. Slowed down through the middle phase, 10th over. They already lost 5 wickets, but the way that the lower order batted, led by that man, Emilio Alfonso, part of that 51-run partnership with Jay Pathak, 52 runs, correction, helping them get up to this 160 total. Cornwall, again, every time he's passed 30 in this tournament, they have not lost a game. Bear that in mind. Nasser Hossain, with his on the back of his man of the match performance yesterday against the Raptors, 28. And a good finish from Pathak, 27, and Emilio Alfonso in the end, 22 from just 16 deliveries to get them to that 160 and pass 8 runs per over.
Yeah, good bowling performance by everyone involved. young Alton Tucker Jr. started beautifully, getting hit for 10 in the first 2 deliveries, but pulling it back nicely, only going for 7 over. Royal Silver, loads of experience, 4 overs, 29 for 3 wickets. And Dan Zahaya did a good period in the middle, and my Atul Iyer was pick of the bowlers in my opinion. 4 overs, 3 for 19. Young off spinner, showed good control, good spin, and good pace.
Well, the Lions, they will need 162 runs to win. It's a batting lineup that hasn't quite fired in this tournament, but they will need to get a good start in those first 6 overs and attack the fielding restrictions if they want to get over the line and pick up what would be their 4th win in this tournament. A look at the highlights.
Yeah, big ruck attack starting off nicely, showing good impetus, hitting young Alton Tucker Jr. for a couple of boundaries in the first over, and that set the tone beautifully for the Atlanta Fire.
Yeah, it was all about Raheem Cornwall again, the way he started the innings, where he was just powerful as he is, but also played some delicate strokes through the offside, used the field well. Zain Saeed just went straight across, and at this stage they had to sort of consolidate, but they wanted to make use of the power play with Cornwall there.
Yeah, just as we spoke of, the intensity dropped a little bit, and there was a lot of wickets that fell, but in my opinion, young Rishi Pandey played beautifully, loves the leg side, loves the cut and pull, and he got his innings going nicely.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed, Rishi Pandey, they wasn't able to kick on. Raheem Cornwall, just so good on the legs. You cannot bowl there. You can't be too full in terms of the length. So a couple of big maximums, one in the onside and the next in the offside. That was gorgeous over mid-off. He just so powerful, went all the way for 6. Rishi Pandey supported him well at the other end, inside the power play. He really has a lot of ability, the young 16-year-old. But then, this was the moment that the Lions just snapped back into the game. Dan Zahaya, controversial decision. May have got an inside edge, may be sliding down, but the umpire sent him. And then Nasser Hossain picking up where he left off yesterday, played a couple beautiful strokes. Just seemed though that they lost wickets at the wrong time, the Atlanta Fire. And it cost them in the end. Could have easily probably got up to 180 the way that they started. But instead, having to settle for 161. Nasser Hossain threw that offside. He's so good, the man from Bangladesh, the former international cricketer. But again, another wicket at the wrong time. Just picked out that lone field at point. And a way for the Lions to get back into this game. Jamar Hamilton will be really disappointed because he's such a clean striker of the cricket ball. Played a couple good strokes, timed the ball well, as he so often does. And then again was the culprit of picking out that fielder, one in the onside at deep mid-wicket. That was the long on fielder who ran around. Kieran again taking a good catch. And at this stage, 96 for 5 after the 11 overs, Fire began, you thought, to be a bit worried, losing wickets at regular intervals. Liab Salman didn't last too long, did a couple of good shots down the ground. But then another wicket, another partnership was broken by the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Ryan Prasad, the leg spinner, just enticing him with the flight. Good catch by Javal Glenn in the end. And another wicket fell in quick succession. They lost 2 inside of 2 overs in that middle phase. First Salman, and then Jay Pathat and Amila Ponzo. This was the partnership, 52 runs. Pathat hit a couple of big blows out the ground, whether it was spin, whether it was pace. Batted well, even though it was above a run a ball. Amila Ponzo, though, he's really displaying his all-round ability. A couple straight back down the ground, a couple pulls over mid-wicket for 6. And when it was short, he was happy to go on that back foot, rock back and find the gap. Such an important performer for this Fire team. That was the end of Jay Pathat in the final over, looking to bring that extra impetus as they tried to get up to that 165 total. And Amila Ponzo, on the final delivery of the innings, he fell. So it will mean that the Atlanta Fire have gotten to 161. And remember, they are unbeaten when that man, Raheem Cornwall, crosses 30 in this tournament. The Lions, well, they'll need 162. It'll just be a consolation prize, but they'll want to beat the table toppers, and they'll need to go at 8.1 runs per over when we return. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes' time.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
They usually do them, yeah. Yeah, that's why I was like, but it's still good to get a comment from you. Yeah. 1:48 is the resumption.
It's going to be difficult for me to do this set here.
The last? It's fine. Please tell me what you can do.
Yeah, because I have to go warm up and stuff. Our report time is in the next hour.
So, what would you rather do, the middle, or you just want to not do it?
Nah, I'll check. Don't worry.
I mean, it could be over before that time anyway. As in,
$4 and smash it.
no, as in, fire could boil them out. Or it could be nothing in the game and then you could just let Nate or Aman. You'll see, Judge. It's fine, bro. There's no pressure.
I am starting now.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm maybe first.
He'll come back. Nate knows.
1 to 5.
Tired already? Tired already? I saw. You bought them? Oh, come on. Forget about it.
Man City, bro.
Huh?
What do you support, Man City?
Arsenal. The coach is there, so like, I can't really see them come. I can't see them coming on the field with the coach being in the middle and the roll on.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Welcome back to Church Street Park, North Carolina, for this 8th weekend of the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco, of course. And we've already seen one game here, which was won by the Fire. They're now looking for their second win of the weekend, as they posted 161. It's been a stop-start type innings for them, where they were going and well in phases, and just the lost wickets at crucial times. Probably when they look back on this, will be feel like they've missed out on 10 to 15 runs. But the back end of the innings, where they were able to score some 42 runs in the last 5 overs, just under 9 runs per over, they'll be very happy with that. In terms of the bowling, 3 wickets apiece for Iyer and Roy Silva.
Yeah, Atul Iyer stood out for me, Nick. Bowled a beautiful spell, good control of length, pace. Looked to spin the ball. Big 3 wickets for the young man. He'll take a lot of confidence going into the rest of his career, minor league career. Very good to see young players come through, as well as Alton Tucker Jr., who started beautifully against the big Rack Attack.
Well, speaking of the Rack Attack, leading run scorer in this Atlantic Conference, the Lions will need 162 runs to win. Rakeem Cornwall, again, getting in the runs, again passing that 30 mark. He's got through 50s in this tournament, but he's also gone past the 25-run mark 4 times, so could have easily done some more damage. Today he was uncharacteristic in the sense that we usually see so much brute force from him, but he played some delicate strokes, finding the gap, manipulating the field, and was able to just use the pace, time the ball well. And he was brilliant today. Couple of big shots in back-to-back deliveries, one in the onside, it went for 6, and then this probably was the shot of the day. Over the in the offside, over mid-off, and went all the way for 6. Raheem Cornwall again, making good things happen. And this was the end of Raheem Cornwall. Thought he may have got an inside edge on that. The umpire, though, did give it out. So Raheem Cornwall, last couple of days for this Atlanta Fire team of having the services of Raheem Cornwall before he goes to join the Caribbean Premier League. How important has he been for them?
Huge has Raheem Cornwall been for the Atlanta Fire. Destructive in the first 6 overs. He really gives a platform for the rest of the batters to come. A guy like Steven Taylor and Aaron Jones would have loved to have had a player of Raheem Cornwall ability in the playoffs. It's always easy when you have 70 or 60 plus in a power play where you can just knock it around and, you know, catch up with the tempo of the game. But again, this is the challenge that the Fort Lauderdale Lions will have to come to terms with. Everroy Dyer, he's going to try to bowl with a lot of pace, look to swing the ball.
Yeah, the openers for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, a team that has struggled with the bat in hand this season. Roy Silva, the captain. 508 runs. A lot of experience playing in Morrisville last season. Dane, for your team, the Morrisville Raptors. Well, sorry, in 2020 in the exhibition year, not last season. That was made the move over in the Atlantic Conference. And Gonu Guntla alongside him. Everett Dyer with the new ball in hand, has been in the wickets but has been expensive. Conceded over 9 runs and over as an economy rate this season, and he'll want to improve on that. And a good opportunity for him to get some wickets under his belt, especially without Cornwall dry. He's got to step up. 161 to defend. Starts full, starts on the money. They'll get a quick single. And actually some more as well. A couple of runs. Just slows up on that cover boundary, so they get 3. Good start to the innings for Gonu Guntla.
Gonu Guntla with a great shot through the extra cover region, just allowing the ball to hit the middle of the bat. That's exactly the start that he would want. Beating Rishi Pandey at extra cover, running a good 3, and that's the type of start that the Fort Lauderdale Lions would have wanted. On strike now is the experienced, very experienced former US international in Roy Silva.
Well, the Fire will want to start high intensity. Times it well, but finds the gap. Thought he picked out the fielder, but he actually got it well. Roy Silva was just too full from Everett Dyer. We have seen some inconsistency early on in his spells. A nice start to the innings for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, really good start. Everett Dyer, you can hear the grunt of anger in the stump. Mike just flicked the ball through the mid-wicket region. And a great start this for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Hopefully it continues.
But he does have that slip in place. He's trying to be aggressive, but the line was what he got wrong. He's got to be outside or off stump or on the off stump, challenging. Comes a long way across, but height may have been an issue. How do they ensure? I mean, you look at yesterday against your team, the Raptors, the way that they started, the very first delivery they took a wicket, they just seemed like they had this tantalizing look about them in the field. They want to ensure that they can replicate that today, even against a Lions team that's bottom of the table.
Like I said, intensity is going to be really important in this game. You don't really want to, as you can see, they're just sliding down the leg stump, but you just don't want to sort of drop down to the intensity that the Fort Lauderdale Lions, not saying that they're playing at a low intensity, but again, they don't have anything to play for in this year. This year's the Outer Minor League Championship. So it's going to be important that they try and set the tone. Yes, wickets do help with that. But the most dangerous thing you can do is just expecting things it's just gonna happen. They're just gonna fold over. But they still have a point to prove. Some teams are looking for players next year. So there's always someone's always watching.
Pummeled back down the ground. Roy Silva is A very good player when it comes to inside this power play against that new ball, showing his skill and versatility early in this innings. Everett Dyer expensive again.
Yeah, expensive again is Everett Dyer. But this, in my opinion, is a really good shot. I don't mind this as a captain. If he's hitting you off your length, I don't mind that. You can just make a slight field change. I think you won't be too disappointed with that delivery. But a fantastic, fantastic start this by the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Helps it along its way. This is an excellent start for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. The first over concedes. Waiting for the confirmation whether it's a 4 or 6. The umpire is still waiting to make that decision, but it does end the over nonetheless with a boundary. What a start for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. End of the first. 17 for none. A boundary being given on that final delivery. Finally, Roy Silva getting to 12. It's an opposition he knows well, Dane, because he got 49 from just 34 deliveries the first time these two teams met. And that will worry the Atlanta Fire, who, remember, have got 160 on the board, but that's only 8 runs and over needed. So a couple of overs in this power play in similar vein will really begin to worry Zain Saeed and his team.
One thing that the Fort Lauderdale Lions would not want is that man on screen there, Roy Silva, not to lose his wicket early in the power play, because you can see how destructive he is, and he's hit the ball all around the ground. One through mid-wicket, one pummeled, as you said, Nick, straight down the ground, and one through the fine leg region. So he shows he can hit the ball all around the ground, which is really difficult for a captain. And this is going to be a great challenge for the man on screen there, young Atindra Subramanian. He's a fantastic young prospect for fast bowling in the US of A. So this is going to be a good challenge for the young man to put his skills up to him. He did nick me off yesterday.
You let the cat out of the hat, because I was about to say there's a reason Dane Pete is talking him up so much. He did get the wicket of the man sitting next to me, the Marcel Raptors captain Pete, but in all fairness to him, he did bowl extremely well. 3 wickets for 26 runs yesterday. Especially on this surface with that green grass, I think he'll really enjoy. We spoke to him at the end of the game. He mentioned how good it was just to get back into the wickets and be contributing for his team. Goes with that cutter. It's going to be runs off the inner half of the bat, but just be a single. Misfield, they come back for 2. You cannot afford that if you're the Atlanta Fire.
So I'm speaking about the intensity. They weren't this casual in the field yesterday. Lots of errors early on. But the young Atindra is a real good prospect. Corner Drive speaks highly of him. He's got good game awareness, knows what he's doing, just does his work and gets out. So that is the most important thing that he does do.
Just over the man at mid-off, and it will be more runs. The dive comes out, but it's not enough. And so far, the Lions have really taken attack to this seam bowling display from the Atlanta Fire in these first 8 deliveries. 24 runs have come from the first 8.
Yes, good impetus this by the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Sometimes when you have nothing to lose, things go into your favor. And again, a bit of a fumble, but the guy chasing the ball down at the mid-off region. And this is a perfect start, like you said, for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. I did mention they have nothing to lose, Nick. So with them playing the way that they are, it could be dangerous to the Atlanta Fire. So they just got to slow everything down and just look to how they're going to try and get wickets at regular intervals.
Almost rolls back onto his stumps. He did hit it again.
I don't know what the rule book says. The umpire says not out, but I don't know. He did handled ball is out. So if he went down with his hand to try and stop it, then that would have been out.
You can see there the Yorker hit his pad, and then he hit it again to stop the ball from going back onto his stumps. I think that's within the rules. Once you don't pick up that ball. Much better in terms of the length from Subramaniam. You would have faced him yesterday. What is he doing well at Church Street Park? Because he has been expensive. He struggled for momentum and consistency in previous weekends. Yesterday, he looked like a completely different bowler. What were some of the challenges in facing him?
Yeah, his skill set will work on a grass surface, on a pitch, a normal cricket pitch. Yes, he does bowl on matting, which doesn't quite favor his skill set. What he does really well is he presents the seam. So similar to what Vernon Philander used to do in his international career, just present the seam and let the ball nip around. Obviously not the standard of Vernon Philander, who averaged 21 with the ball in international cricket.
More runs, make that 4 of them as well. Dream start for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Has come at both ends. Both of these openers have got underway in the boundaries column. So far, the Atlanta Fire under serious pressure.
Yes, young Subramanian just sneaking down onto the legs. Contigula was all over that. He was expecting it. Looked like he expected it, and he just flicked it to the left of the fine leg. What a good shot that was. And like you said, there's serious pressure on the Atlanta Fire with the Fort Lauderdale Lions racing to 28 of 1.5 overs.
Much better bringing that outside edge into play. Subramanian will be very happy that Dane Pete has compared him to a man that's taken 224 test wickets at the highest level. He's a youngster with a lot of ability, Atinja Subramanian, but he's under some pressure. He concedes 11, 28 for none.
My son is so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
We're back here at Church Street Park, spin into the attack for the first time. Emilio Aponzo, the left-arm spinner, with his team under some pressure. The Fort Lauderdale Lions currently scoring at 14 runs per over. I wanted to ask Dane in the last over. Dane, are you surprised? You look at yesterday against the Raptors. The first 4 of the first 5 overs were all spin, and the Fire were able to take 4 wickets inside the first 5. Today, though, they started with 2 seamers, and they've been expensive. First sign of spin into the attack.
What a great bowler this is, Emilio Aponzo coming to the attack. And I thought they would have started with him, to be honest. But I think the hierarchy of the Atlanta Fire, captain, coach, whoever's involved with the decision-making, probably feels that the pitch has quickened up a little bit. And that's why going with the seam in Everett Dyer and young Atinja Subramanian. So this is the man that I would have started a couple of overs ago, just to set the tone. If you get a wicket early on, the nerves are relaxed. You're not too fast. And especially trying to get Roy Silva out.
Straight to cover, but again a misfield, and again they're going to sneak to for another single. I don't mind the decision of bowling that seam very first over, because you want to see what's happening, maybe some lateral movement. But after that first over went for 15 runs, and you know you only have 160 on the board. It's a high-scoring venue, pitch is good. I just would have liked to see, even if it wasn't Emilio Aponzo, you want him to bowl from this end. Maybe a Nasser Hussain, who took a wicket on the very first delivery yesterday, or Raheem Cornwall, who's so skillful in these power play overs.
Yeah, without a doubt, they have an array of options to go to, which they didn't go to. Nasser Hussain did that at international level. So did Emilio Aponzo. But yes, it's in history now, so they've got to try and make a play with what they have on offer now. So Emilio Aponzo's started beautifully, going for 1 in 4 deliveries. Sorry, Nick. Having played against Contigula, he always looks to give himself room and try to hit the extra cover region, which Emilio Aponzo's done beautifully. He's bowled on the fuller side, which he can't get under the ball, and bowled the ball on leg stump.
Inside out, over extra cover, exactly what Dane Pete just spoke about. Gunnar Guntler, he likes that area, and he's picked up a boundary. It was such a good over for the Fire. Just conceded 1 run, but in the end, he'll go for 5. The 30-run mark comes up in a flash, 33 for none after 3.
Let's go, let's go.
in the sunshine here at Church Street Park. It's been a blistering hot start from the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Roy Silva's raced to 15. His partner, Gonaguntla, 17 from just 11 deliveries, thinking for Zain Saeed and his team to do.
Nick, I'll beat you. The Fort Lauderdale Lions are roaring along to 33 after 3 overs.
Oh, we like this, Dane. We like this. All the viewers at home. Beautiful day. Dane Pete, you're one of the luckiest men in the world to play your cricket here every weekend, week in, week out. It's been a true joy to cover the action, bring you the premium coverage, of course, brought to you by Toyota, Sunoco, and Dafa News. And as predicted, Nasser Hossain, after spin, almost working in the last over for the Fire. This man was brilliant yesterday, man of the match. 2 for 18, also picked up 38 runs. Today he got 28 with the bat in hand. It's what you expect from your international players. The difficulties as a spinner bowling inside the power play, I'm glad you're next to me, Dane, because you've done a similar thing, especially in T20 cricket. We do see it quite often now in the modern game. Across the line, there is that man in the deep. Doesn't carry to him though, just be a single.
Yeah, it's really important to control your length. You don't want any batsman to get under the ball, which means you're bowling on the slightly fuller side. Also, I'm a big believer in bowling the ball at the line of the stumps in the power play. You don't want to give too much room or width, especially to a guy like Guntugulu. He's going to look to hit the off-spinner through the offside. But as you can see there, loads of experience getting the ball to spin a little bit too, which you should not be afraid to do in the power play. Batsmen feels that they have the upper hand on you, but you should not back away from the challenge in still trying to spin the ball and trying to get the batsman out.
Well cut off at square leg. I was surprised this morning actually coming to the ground, seeing the surface. Did see some of those cracks begin to open up, and it tells you, even after how much water's gone into the surface, you've had rain around during the week, it just tells you how hot and dry conditions are here at Church Street Park. So something on offer for the spinners. Exquisite, exquisite from Gonaguntla, who even when they've been bogged down, he's found a way to find the boundary. And that will be a crucial one for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, just starting the ball too straight, did Hussain. Guntugulu hit a similar shot of me in Orlando, just flicking the ball over square leg for a couple of bounces. Great shot, in control, didn't try to overhit the ball, knowing there's no deep square out there. And again, these guys have played the power play beautifully. Low risk cricket, but high reward, which always makes the job so much easier going in to the middle pocket of the game.
You can see there that run rate over 10 and over. It's meant now that the asker is coming down to just above 7.5. Off the outside edge. Never easy to catch as a wicketkeeper, and it's going to be more runs. Doesn't get to the boundary. Comes back for another 2. The Fort Lauderdale Lions could have asked for a better start. A team that struggled to get past that 130 mark with consistency in this tournament, but to be 40 without loss inside of the 4th over against the Atlanta Fire team, who's top of the Southern Division. This is excellent for their confidence. Pulled away again. Man at deep backward square. A single to end the over. It will be 8 from it. An expensive one for Hossain. End of 4, 41 for none. Amira Pond. Amira Ponzo will come back into the attack for his second over. Just conceded 5 in his first. He'll be happy with that. One thing to note, DNP and all the viewers at home, in the 3 losses for the Atlanta Fire, they've given up 9 runs per over inside the power play. Already they're going up well over 10 and over. What have the Fort Lauderdale Lions done well?
They've put the impetus back on them, and there's been a couple of bad balls that they've punished and taken to the boundary, which does make the job so much harder for the Atlanta Fire going into the middle pocket of the game. But I think their intensity has been so much higher than the Atlanta Fire, which has been good to see. And you can see that the Atlanta Fire now trying to chop and change and looking at their bowling options and starting to panic a little bit. Yes, there's no need to panic as of yet. But it's a crucial part of this game. The next 2 overs to see how the power play goes. The worst thing that can happen is at the end, you'll be calling 60 for no loss after the power play, which makes it a real tough predicament to have themselves in.
Yeah, what Roy Silva would know as captain is that he'll want to get through this power play without losing a wicket. The deeper that they can take things here against the Fire team, knowing exactly what they need to chase, the better it is for their chances. The way that they've scored and gone about things, it's been brilliant. It's a big improvement from the last time these two teams met as well. On that occasion, the Lions batted first. They only got to 27 runs after the first 6 overs. They were bogged down by the seam of Cornwall, Everard Daya, and Atinja Subramaniam. Must say I'm very surprised. I think he'll come aboard the next over, Cornwall. I am surprised that he hasn't bowled an over yet. The wicket-taking option for the Fire. Straight back down the ground. Ponzo almost had a chance of running his man out. But a good start again for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. You'll have a change of commentary. End of 5, 43 for none.
Let's go, fellas. Okay. Effort over here, guys. Quick change here.
Now just make a note of it. You have to have a manager in the play.
Die.
So welcome back to Church Street Park. As we have a change at the commentary. It'll be myself, Aman Patel, and Nate Hayes. It's Rakeem Cornwall coming in with the ball in hand, and he'll be bowling to Roy Silva and Ashok Gangutla. This time some width on offer, and he's taking it over the offside. It's a brilliant shot this. Again, these two have really put the impetus in the innings. That's a great shot from Ashok, getting it all the way over the top, and 6 runs to his name.
Great start here for Fort Lauderdale. Continues in the power play as they bring up the 50 runs.
Yeah, again, just take a look at this. It's a touch full. Made some room for himself, Ashok, and just helped himself over the top. Not struggling with the straight boundaries as we saw the Fire do. At this time, he goes through the offside. He's pierced that gap in the infield, and it's going to trickle all the way. Good work there from the Atlanta Fire. Going to keep it to just a couple of runs. Nate, you know how important it is at Church Street Park to be really sharp in the field. Every run is important. We've already seen a last ball finish, a couple super overs, so this could be huge in the context of the match.
Yeah, considering this is such a neutral wicket, the game can turn just a couple of overs. Just an over can turn the game here.
Push straight back down the ground. And Rakeem Cornwall, he's a wicket taker for the Atlanta Fire. He's always amongst the wickets. He's one of their strike bowlers. He's key for them if they want to break this opening pair and get back in the match.
Yeah, I wouldn't panic too much.
Hey, Zin.
If I'm Atlanta, just because, like I said, games can change so quickly at this ground. The entire game is just kind of a beautiful story with multiple acts.
Multiple acts in this over, exactly that. A play with multiple acts. We started with a couple of shots down the ground, and Rakeem Cornwall responds beautifully. And at the end of the power play, the score reads 54 without loss. And look at that, the beautiful Church Street Park. What views you see here in Morrisville, North Carolina. And as you see the tall towers around for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, you can see them just start to be in every single over. A huge first but since then has kept things in the running.
Yeah, that big first over really set the table. They haven't lost a wicket, so they've been able to ride that for quite a long time. Of course, a couple of overs with 10 runs also, that helps them out.
Ati, you do that. You do that there, Ati. You stay. You do that over there, Ati. Batsman, new bowler. Right arm over.
And here we go for the Atlanta Fire. The turning to Nasir Hussain, who's already bowled an over so far, giving up 8 runs. Took a wicket in his very first delivery in minor league cricket. A warm welcome for him. And they're going to need him to strike and break this opening pair.
Big addition for this team, obviously, needless to say. With the absence of Aaron and Steven, it's great to have a wicket taker like this that can keep the game within reason.
Yeah, don't forget about Cornwall Dry as well. One of their strike bowlers. Not to have him is huge. So they bring in Nasir, the ex-Bangladeshi. He just started off on the money. He's going to be very used to turf wickets, which is a huge plus as you come to Church Street Park. And he's been on the mark yesterday, of course, starting with that wicket, and today he's just been in the right areas.
Yeah, always threatening. Every delivery looking like a chance. You know, I kind of miss the Fire's jerseys from last year that had the flames on them.
Well, this one's up in the air. Could be a huge moment. Roy Silva, he's got to go. It's Nasir Hussain, the international for Bangladesh. He's taking the wicket, causes that false shot from Roy Silva. A top edge goes straight to Rishi Pandey there at fine leg. And the simplest of catches to lose that first wicket for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
And this could be a turning point. As you mentioned, Nasir very good at taking wickets. Roy reaching maybe a little bit too much there on that attempted sweep slog.
You see the smile on Rishi Pandey's face. It's because it's never easy. Checking back, maybe felt a bit late. Roy Silva, 19 from 14, 2 4s and a 6. But he's got to go. It's 54 for the loss of 1.
Let's go, guys. Let's go quickly, fellas.
Yeah, Ashok's still in the middle, 34 from 24. So your man in form is still batting right now, but that is a huge wicket, the wicket of Roy Silva there. That is massive.
Yeah, it's felt all season long. It's really been the Roy show for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. When he's had success, the Fort Lauderdale Lions have found success. When he hasn't played, it's when they've really been destroyed. Again, not a season they're going to want to remember. But now they're going to get to see some new faces with the bat in hand. And it is going to be Danza Hyatt, who's come in for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. You can see in just 6 matches, 138 runs. He's a big hitter. He's played for the West Indies internationally, so he's come in with a high reputation. He's going to need to stand up with the bat.
Yeah, that gives them one more big weapon that they'll definitely need if they want to chase down this formidable total of 161 from the first innings. We tend to see a lot of wickets at this ground. Atlanta losing 9.
Oh,
Yeah, and I think for what Atlanta did really well, not only they're amongst the wickets now, but they batted out all 20 overs. We didn't see the Raptors do that yesterday, and it gives that extra amount of runs, and that's what causes Roy Silva to play this shot. The scoreboard pressure just top edge it straight to Rishi Pandey. Look at Jamar Hamilton behind the stumps. He's maybe the funniest guy to watch behind the stumps. Always so expressive.
Love him. Love watching him. I don't know if there's anybody in cricket that enjoys the game as much as he seems to. Just an exciting player.
Use of the feet this time from Hyatt, but Hussain, he's up to the task and getting back to Jamar Hamilton. I love the glasses. I love the gold sunglasses. They just add that extra bit of style to his wicket keeping.
Yeah, it's nice to see him back in style.
This one pushed into the leg side. 4-1 as Hyatt gets off the mark. It's been a real quiet over from Hussain against striking. That one just being the first run to come from it off the bat.
Yeah, these big sunglasses, such a sign of kind of like an early 90s WWF. You know, it takes me back to my childhood.
him.
Yeah, Nate, I can't say that I ever was able to experience WWF in its entirety of glory. A little bit of a youngster here. That'll be the end of the 7th over. It's 56 for the loss of 1. We welcome you all to Church Street Park. To my left is Nate Hayes, and again, love being in the box with Nate Hayes. It's been quite some time since July 4th. We're glad to bring you coverage here live from Church Street Park.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We tend to get a lot of great, wonderful, close games at this beautiful ground.
Let's go, guys. Quick change
Cricket
here.
always matches the ground quality. Look, there's a great view, aerial view from our buddy Bobber, who usually is always involved in cricket here in North Carolina in the Triangle Cricket League.
Yeah, can't keep him away from cricket. He's always looking to help out, and again, part of the Triangle Cricket League, the president of the league, and again, he's someone who is just always involved. And you can also see the roadside that runs through Church Street Park, this beautiful scoreboard that was installed in the early parts of last year. A lot of great facilities here at Church Street Park.
Yeah, it's excellent. That is actually Church Street that you're looking at behind the scoreboard. Yeah, we have Bobber doing the drone shots. You know, the people in this community really get involved in the cricket for minor league cricket. It's one of the examples of how to make this league work to the max.
And it's Everroy Dyer who's come into the attack for the Atlanta Fire. And he does operate in that area, usually on a length, and gets a little bit of nip off the wicket. But he's someone who's always amongst the wickets, keeps things nice and tight, and is usually used in tandem with Cornet Dry. Today going to be that lead pace bowler.
Yeah, when you think about the Atlanta Fire, you think about Everroy Dyer. He's one of the first names that pops to your mind.
This one nowhere to go, and again, right on that hard length. And you mentioned the quality of the ground. There's something in it for everybody, whether you're a pace bowler or a spinner, and even the bats. There's always something in it, and you can see just a little bit of bounce being extracted here from Everroy Dyer.
We talk a lot about American cricket, how it tends to be played on AstroTurf wickets with thick outfield grass and smaller boundaries. This ground is the opposite of all three of those things. You have to play proper cricket shots to get value here.
This time going for the short delivery there. It's a good shot. It's a good delivery from Everroy Dyer. He's just looked really good all the way through the day, and again, all the way through this tournament. Just take a look at this short delivery. Bang this one in a touch shorter, and it just evades that tough edge.
Yeah, that's some chin music there, right by the right earlobe.
Well directed indeed. And this time goes a little bit fuller. And again, what Everroy Dyer does so well is just keeps things simple. And I think that's what the Fire have been really successful with. Cornet Dry's been in more of the wickets, but you see Dyer just tend to slow things down and cause the batters to take on the bowler at the opposing end.
Yeah, and he does take wickets himself. Going short there and then going fuller towards the stumps on that one.
Finally gets a run from the over. Again, for the Atlanta Fire, that's exactly where they're going to want to be. They're starting to take wickets. They're starting to reel things back in since that dismissal, chasing that 161 they were able to put on.
Saw a really good power play from them, then the wicket, and now we are looking at just one run from this over so far. So, as we said, just one good over can change the game here at Church Street Park.
And look at that delivery, probably the best of the lot, back of a length, tip away, and that'll do it for the 8th over. It's 57 for the loss of 1.
1, 2, 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
As we welcome you back to Church Street Park, you can see the Fort Lauderdale Lions dugout just a little bit of nerves rushing through as they saw the wicket of their captain, Roy Silva, and things slowed down in that previous over of Everoy Dyer. It's Rakeem Cornwall, going to strike bowler for the Fire, who's being brought in and just trying to keep the pressure staggering on the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Enjoyed seeing that USA hat on Elton Tucker Jr.'s head. That is definitely his dream to make that team.
Come off. Nanya.
There we go. Nice dot delivery. They continue to build the pressure here. Rakeem Cornwall, those glasses even look smaller on him.
Yeah, he's larger than life, Rakeem Cornwall. His sixes, the wickets he takes, they're always so valuable. And there's one right there, drawing the batter outside his stumps. Slowed it down that time, and Hyatt just trying to reach out and fend it away. All he did was allow Jamar Hamilton the easiest of stumpings, and the second wicket falls for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
And smiles all around from the Atlanta Fire as they feel like they've turned this game around. Just a little bit taking too much of a chance there. You're building the pressure with all the dot balls. The batter feels like he needs to make something happen. He's coming down the pitch. And Rakeem Cornwall's just one step ahead of him.
Yeah, Hyatt has to go for 2. It's 56 for the loss of 2.
And here comes the young Centurion. Javel Glenn walking into the middle. I believe Javel scored the first century in minor league cricket this season. Was that correct for the 2022 season?
Yeah, he definitely was the first one to do it over there in Lauderhill. I mean, he was really a revelation for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. You can see 12 matches, 228 runs, and they needed a second bat after Roy Silva. It was really just Roy or nothing for Fort Lauderdale for the majority of the season. But JaVale Glenn now has a big role to play, as we just saw Hyatt have to go, just being pulled out of his crease by Rakeem Cornwall. Ends up being Cornwall's 13th wicket of the season. Here's another look at that wicket there again. Just a touch slower, pulled the length back as well. And Hyatt just was never to the pitch of the ball. And the easiest of stumpings for Jamar Hamilton. And smiles all around, as you said, Nate.
Yeah, and in 10 innings, even though he does have that century, he also has a 50. In every other innings, he has yet to score 20 runs.
He's a hit-or-miss player here, JaVale Glenn. Starts with the wide, and again, look at Jamar Hamilton. Just look at him behind the stumps, just holding the pose over that leg stump.
Just waiting for Glenn to take it easy, maybe pull that foot up.
This time, a big shout from Rakeem Cornwall. He was convinced. You can see short mid-wicket. I think probably outside the line, maybe a bit high as well, but Rakeem Cornwall is so expressive there to the umpire.
I think that might have even hit outside of the line. But he was very expressive. He was certain he had that LBW yesterday. I heard him talking about it after the game even.
Yeah, it was a close call there. I think it definitely, like you said, just moving outside, this time going down the leg side. But you can see Rakeem Cornwall is putting the pressure on after the initial flurry from the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They've really been reeled in. Just the three runs over the last 2 overs. Still no runs on offer for the Fort Lauderdale Lions and JaVale Glenn.
Yeah, we made a point to say that this game ebbs and flows here at Church Street Park, and it really is doing that right now.
This one flows down the leg side. They want that quick single, chance of a run out. Better throw might have been interesting. There was some hesitation from both parties, and Glenn and Ashok. But they get home safely in the end. They get that single there. And that'll do it for the 9th over. It's 59 for the loss of 2. Well, Church Street Park, such a great venue here in the USA. And so far, as you mentioned, Nate, just ebbing and flowing this match for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They got a great start from Roy Silva and Ashoka Gongtalua. 34 from 26 for Ashok. He's still in there. 19 from 14 is Roy Silva. Denza Hyatt, though, he was just 2 off 10 before he was stumped. And it's JaVale Glenn, who has a century to his name. He's in the middle, and he's going to want to get things going and build a partnership with Ashok. Look at the bowling card, though. Things have just started to reel back in for the Atlanta Fire. Everroy Dyer, who's bowled 2 overs, 18 runs. Athinder Subramanian, an over that went for 11, but we know he's going to need to come back. Amelia Ponzo, really economical, 7 runs in his 2 overs, and a wicket for Hussein and Cornwall. And you can see the planes flying ahead here at Church Street Park. We have a young superstar who is emerging to the ranks of USA cricket. It's Athinder Subramanian with ball in hand. Bowled brilliantly yesterday. He's been called upon once again today after an expensive first over.
Yeah, but I think they have a lot of faith in him. This team has trusted this young player for 2 years now. He's come through big for them several times. He can rebound easily.
This one pulled into the leg side, and the struggles will continue for Athinder Subramanian. Just straying down the leg side, far too easy for a man of JaVale Glenn's class, and that's going to be 4 runs to start the over.
Let's go, guys. Come back here.
Not a great start here for Subramanian after taking 3 wickets last night. Just misses his length, it looks like there.
Yeah, the length and the line just straying down the leg side, allowing Glenn to just help it around the corner. This time he's gone full, he's gone straight. Probably impacting outside that leg stump, but again, he looks to be attacking the pads of JaVale Glenn. It seems to be where he wants to be.
Yeah, as of now, you know, we have a tough decision already to make this week on the emerging player of the week decision. Athinder being one of the top names, of course. And then you got Iyer in his inning taking 3 wickets and being very, very cheap in doing so.
Yeah, and still plenty of matches to come all across minor league cricket and throughout this weekend here at Church Street Park. Another game coming this evening, 5 p.m. matchup. And this one pushed it out wide of JaVale Glenn, just keeping him honest, not letting him sit on that leg stump.
Let's go, Fire. Salman, let's go, Salman.
And again, Athinder Subramanian, he's so good. One of the best youngsters to come across through minor league cricket. And we'll get to see plenty more over the weekend. And this one goes with the Yorker. What a delivery that is. Again, Subramanian, he's one of the bright young talents, and it's what minor league cricket is all about. And again, you can check out all the matches going on here in minor league cricket. You can see later today, the Morrisville Raptors, they'll take on the Atlanta Lightning at 5 p.m. here, and we'll get to see more young talent on offer.
Yes, the Raptors load their team with young players. There's always a chance one of them will stand out more than anybody else.
As this one taken into the leg side, but taken straight to Athinder Subramanian. Don't forget also about Heath Richards, part of that Atlanta Lightning team, was another name we mentioned in last week's Emerging Player of the Week. So it should be an exciting time, not for just the senior players, but the youth players as well as we head into the second match.
Most definitely. We see Athinder here. Look at those polka-dotted pants. What do you think about that?
Gives me a real 70s, 80s feel, kind of a retro vibe for the Fire. And here we go, quick single taken and a quick single gotten. A really good over this, though, from Subramanian after that initial boundary. Just 5 runs to come from that 10th over. We're halfway through the second innings, 10 overs gone. It's 64 for the loss of 2.
Hey, Rishi. Where are you?
This match has just been pulled back in quite a huge way from the Atlanta Fire, the Fort Lauderdale Lions. At one point, it seemed like they were going to get this chase wrapped up pretty quickly.
Yeah, 54 without loss after the power play, and they've only managed to score 10 ever since, and losing 2 wickets in the 4 overs since then.
Yeah, and 2 big wickets at that. You're talking about Roy Silva and Dan Zahayat, 2 of their best bats. You can take a look at this Manhattan. It'll tell you the story. Started off so quick, and in that power play, you can see every over, apart from 2 of them, just going at above 9 and over. But then since then, everything's just slowed down, and the Fort Lauderdale Lions have just been cramped up by the likes of Rakeem Cornwall, Hussein, Athinda Subramanian. They've just all kept the runs to a minimum.
Again, this is a very familiar event here at Church Street Park to have several overs of a lull in the middle of a innings.
Yeah, we see it quite often, and it's about how you respond to that last phase of the game here. The Morrisville Raptors, at times we've seen them just, you know, kind of almost just not score runs in the middle periods and then just light it up to the back half. So you never know when the momentum can change and that switch will flip, and we'll just see the big shots come out for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, we're in a transition where players are learning how to play here. A lot of these guys, like Nasser Hussein, this isn't going to be an issue for him. But a lot of the other...
Well, there's a shot back down the ground. I think it's safe to say that JaVale Glenn knows how to play here. And judging by that sound, I think it's just struck the production truck we are sitting in. What a shot from JaVale Glenn.
I felt the vibrations from that in my feet.
Don't mind that at all.
Look at that. That is a massive shot over the side screen.
That's the impressive thing. It hit the truck over the side screen, square on top. Unreal. A skip down the track for JaVale Glenn, and we know the power in his arms, and he's got to be the guy to put his hands up and take the Fort Lauderdale Lions over the line.
That's the kind of shot we see from Obus PNR, from the Morrisville Raptors during practice.
This time, a delivery into the pads of JaVale Glenn, just able to work it over to mid-wicket for a single. And Ashok Gantaglula has just not been on strike for a while. He's been kept off for a little bit of time. Just wonder if that's going to plague his mind. Is he going to try something rather rash?
It's no fun standing there, especially when you're in a good flow. It's no fun standing and watching from the other end as wickets fall and dot balls.
Well, this time he goes into the leg side. The slog sweep comes out, and another boundary in the over. This is finally the over the Fort Lauderdale Lions can hang their hat on. It's a second boundary in the first 4 deliveries this time off the bat of Ashok.
Definitely going to need a lot of this to catch up for all the rhythm that they lost over the last 4 overs.
Yeah, you can see him just tip it over the top and a little bit of spin and bisects the 2 fielders out in the deep on the leg side. And as you said, exactly the momentum they need to carry in to this next phase of the game. You talked about the lulls that are not uncommon here at Church Street Park. And
Quickly.
We got a fielder down.
He stepped on, he ran on the board, ankle.
Yeah, it looked like he twisted his ankle or something running after that ball. That is Jay Pathak out there.
Yeah, never good to see anyone go down. We're going to hope Jay Pathak is all right. Again, just hopefully it's just a cramp over there and nothing too serious. I'm just going to hope he's okay. As that next delivery is bowled and no run to have, and going to be a dot ball there. And Hussein has had a couple of quiet overs, 2 boundaries in it, the biggest 6 we've seen probably all day. Right back down the ground, and then of course that sweep shot, and following that sweep, Jay Pathak goes down with an injury. Again, never good to see.
Yeah, Pathak does not bowl, so he'll be missed in the field only.
Try to go with a little paddle and unable to get any bat on it at all. Almost opened up all of his stumps, and you thought for a moment it could just ricochet onto him. Instead, it just goes straight on to the pads, and that'll end the 11th over. 75 for the loss of 2.
A slow, short ball.
Left arm over to you.
It's going to be Emilio Ponzo into bowl here at Church Street Park as we welcome everybody back. 11 overs gone for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, 75 for the loss of 2. Emilio Ponzo has been so economical, 2 for 7.
Yeah, about that, you can see him heading back to the dugout. It looks like his evening is probably done. Hopefully he can rejoin them for the game tomorrow.
They got to be plaguing on their minds. We're going to hope Jay Patak is okay, and Fire would love to have him available for tomorrow's matchup. As Afonso comes back in, it's been dug out there from that hard Yorker length. They're going to push for 2. They're going to go ahead and get 2 in the end. This is good running from the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Again, we saw really tight overs from Afonso, just 7 runs from his first 2. Important to milk every run you can get.
Definitely, they're going to hope they can keep their foot on the gas a little bit here.
And this time, push straight back down the ground. Again, this is the kind of batting you're going to need through those lulls where you don't find the boundaries. At least push around for ones.
Yeah, if they can get through this over with 6 or 7 runs, they're going to be happy with themselves against Ponzo. He is not really the guy you want to take on.
Yeah, such a big part of the Fire team last year was a marquee selection for him this year. And there's a reason for it. He's always amongst the wickets. He's always kept things tight, and he's someone who just is able to vary the pace. Again, doesn't turn the ball in a big way, but he's someone who's always angling into the stumps and can just have all the variations. And this one is run down, but run straight to point. And again, that's exactly what we're talking about. That one, just a touch quicker onto the bat of Ashok.
Trying to play that behind point, looking for a single there or a boundary. There's another. Ashok, confident. Let's see what he does here against Afonso.
This one goes down the ground, driven back down the ground. And again, in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco, Emilio Ponzo has been really special. Again, not in the wickets as much as he was last year, but he's someone who, again, is just always keeping things tight. He's building pressure. Another one of those guys in the Evro Dyer category. Might not get all the rewards with the wickets in hand, but is always someone who keeps things tight, leads to wickets. This one is up in the air through the leg side. JaVale Glenn, how about this shot? As big as you want it, just made some shuffle over to his off stump and works it all the way over the top. Another huge 6 off the bat of JaVale Glenn.
Great shot there. And I mentioned before that JaVale Glenn has not scored more than 20 runs in any innings unless it was a century or a 50. And now he's at 22 runs. He really put something into that one, charged that one straight to the workout center over there at in the park.
Well, kids, if you want to hit the ball like JaVale Glenn, you got to go and spend some time in that area, the workout center. You got to have the power in the arms, and he definitely has that.
That's it right there. Fitness equipment for ages 13 and up only. Everybody else can play at the playground next to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that JaVale Glenn would have been abiding by those restrictions on the fitness center with the way he strikes the ball. I think he's always been a powerful striker.
I think it's good that the fitness center is pretty vacant right now, but they're looking for the ball. Once the ball goes over there, it's not fun to look for it.
Yeah, the umpires, they know as soon as the ball's in that area, they got to go and try to find a new one. And you can see the third umpire coming out, Rahul Partwardhan, the third umpire for the day.
It can get quite deep in those woods very quickly because you have all that sidewalk over there, all that paved sidewalk. You can easily skip off deep into the woods. So you got to keep an eye on it as soon as it goes over there. These are some club cricket tips, you know, from club cricketers here.
Yeah, we call them the ball finding committee here in North Carolina in TCL. And it looks like the ball has been found, so the committee did a really good job with that one.
Great stuff there. Much better than I would have done. I'm one of the better ball finders on my team, but that's just strictly out of effort. It's not about talent at all for me.
It's not about the results. It's just about going and doing it. You're the only one who'll go and do it. That's what it is,
You
Nate.
get that reputation, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, you're so good at doing it. Why don't you go get the ball?"
Nate's like, I have a 1% success rate, but I'm the only one who goes. I go 100 times. I found it once, and everyone remembers that one time. Well, Emilio Ponzo just got hit for 6, so he's looking to come back against JaVale Glenn, who has started to pick things up here in this innings. Looking to run this one through third man. It's just going to find one and retain strike into the 13th over. At the end of 12, it's 86 for the loss of 2. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions have found an ability to steady the ship. In 19 from 14 for Roy Silva. When he went, you thought maybe the game could go out of hand because Danza Hyatt went fairly quickly afterwards, 2 from 10. But JaVale Glenn has come in 23 from 17 to support Ashok Gangutla, who's 39 from 31 quite well. Take a look at the bowling.
Yeah, there we go. We got Nasser Hussain with a wicket. Rakeem Cornwall, both of them. Nobody's really been too expensive so far. Emilio Ponzo's rate just went up just a little bit that last over. But it looks like they've decided on their 5 guys today, and all of them are coming through a little bit for them.
And you can see the drone giving you all the lovely footage from Church Street Park. And it's Rakeem Cornwall with ball in hand. Again, he's someone who just struck. Get the wicket of Danza High, and there's a shot from the drone. Again, such a lovely venue, Church Street Park. One of the best in all of the USA. As this one is pushed into the leg side. It's going to be, they're pushing for 2, and they're going to get it. Look like a bit of a misfield. He threw it in, and he says it's not out.
Oh, that was so close. Oh my, we've seen some stares from Rakeem Cornwall already. I think he might give a stare right there after that one.
Well, he didn't seem as animated about it. You can see the throw in from Rishi Pandey. Just take a look at this. Cornwall gets the stumps off. And again, you can't see the stumps, and I think you got to look right in between his legs. When do they light up? That's really close. If we get back, maybe just... Getting a really tough decision, that one. But it's going to be 4 off the bat of JaVale Glenn. It just raced away from the fielders inside the ring. Able to get back for 2, and now able to put it away for 4.
Those run-out calls are so hard to get right, especially in real time. Internationally, we see a lot of guys, you know, always going to the review. That was very, very fortunate there for JaVale Glenn.
Yeah, and that shot there, just evading backward point. As this one, a misfield, is going to lead to a couple of runs there. Again, screws just unturning here for the Fire, and look at this, they're going to push all the way back for 3. This is good running and good awareness from the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Jamar Hamilton not happy about that at all. He does not hide his emotions. He's a very animated guy.
And look at this runner. Let's just take another look. Again, look between Cornwall's legs. It lights up there. And I think the bat is just inside the crease when that stump initially lights up. Again, so tough. Could have really gone either way. It's right there. Looks like it's on the line.
And that doesn't show us that the bails are coming all the way off.
No.
But yeah, those zing bails, what a great, the zing bails and the zing stumps, excellent stuff. That's so helpful in that specific situation.
Yeah, I think umpire Alvin Barnett just gave the benefit of the doubt to the bat, as he should. I think it's a good call. That one chased and given wide there from Alvin Barnett. Getting a busy over for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They've already picked up 9 runs from it and make that run number 10. This time again wide, again helped through the offside. Sweeper cover is there. It would keep it to just 1. But again, the damage has been done in the over for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Their quad run rate's at 9. They've already put up 11 in the over.
And Cornwall came in for Glenn, most likely. Try to get the lefty.
This is a matchup. He's got 1 delivery to do so. This one just pushed into the leg side. Gonna be 1 as it's driven out. And at the end of 13 overs, it's 98 for the loss of 2.
Yeah, Glenn's keeping strike after that with the single. Let's take a look at the worm chart. I like to call it the snake, but we'll call it the worm chart because that's what it is. Fort Lauderdale climbing back up to Atlanta Fires. If you look, Atlanta had a little lull there after those 3 wickets in the 8th, 9th, and 10th over. But Fort Lauderdale hasn't lost a wicket since the 9th over, and they've managed, because of that, to climb their run rate back up. And they're looking like chasing this down right now.
Yeah, and you can just see the inconsistency with the way they've started. They start up really high, and now they've dipped through, and they've come back up, and that's the climbing. With wickets in hand, you're able to do that. We saw for Atlanta, they'd lost wicket in consistent intervals, and that's why they weren't able to put that late push in. For Fort Lauderdale, you don't have a lot of depth in your batting, but you still have wickets in hand if you need to just swing the willow around. And it looks like, look at that sight, the experienced Rakeem Cornwall with the young Athinder Subramanian. That's the beauty of minor league cricket, as Cornwall hands the ball off to young Athinder. And he'll be back in for his 3rd over. The first 2 went for 16. Hasn't had his day in the wicket column today. Yesterday, 3 wickets, sensational for the Fire, giving them early wickets and an early lead into that match. He's going to look to take wickets, or at least just reel things down, keep it under 9 runs in the over.
He's got 2 overs left today. He's going for that Emerging Player of the Week award. He's got 3 games this weekend to get it in. We've talked about him a ton on our show. We talk about him, well, even more last year than this year, but he's starting to catch fire right now.
Atlanta Fire looking for wickets here, and Athinder Subramanian, he's got the ball in hand, bowling into JaVale Glenn. And a big swing and a big miss. He went for the heave across the line and just misses off stump. Again, you can see the length here, considerably fuller from Subramanian compared to what it was in the last over.
Every swing and a miss, another example, another opportunity for us to check out Hamilton's reaction.
His reactions really make the day. Those are the best part about everything. Every delivery that misses the stumps and into his hands always has the biggest reaction. This time, bat on ball, and he's got it into the gap through the offside. That time, just a touch fuller Subramanian, and a touch too easy for JaVale Glenn, who looks in really good flow today. Again, already has a century to his name, and he's making his way up to a half century now here in Morrisville.
Yeah, really just nothing there with that ball. Just missing all around, and he pummels it.
Yeah, and JaVale Glenn also came out of his crease this time too, got to the pitch of the ball. Again, for Subramanian, you're gonna want to be on a hard length. Don't let JaVale Glenn swing through the line. It's where he's so effective on the front foot when he can just clear it and use his hands. Oh, gets his hands through it, but has he got all of it? He's not sure. And it's just maybe gone into the hands of Rishi Pandey on the deep. It was a tremendous effort. But JaVale Glenn maybe given a life here in the 14th.
Yeah, Pandey couldn't quite get that ball. Couldn't quite make that into a good chance.
Take a look at this here again. He slices it up to deep cover, and he did all the hard work to get there, and it was a low to the ground catch. Just unable to haul it in, but you got to take those types of chances, especially in these types of games. If you win this, you've clinched a spot in the playoffs, and tomorrow you can go and clinch a #1 seed.
Yeah, it's a really big game for Atlanta in the context of things. Fort Lauderdale playing spoiler quite well at the moment. We talk about the ebbs and flows here. We're going to need another ebb here in the action if Atlanta's going to win this game.
And you could see just trying to innovate Ashok, but unable to do so. It's the second time he's played a shot like that, and the second time he's made absolutely no contact with the ball.
He might be happy he didn't make contact with that one. That was just the right length for him to play it onto his own stumps.
Yeah, again, well watched too. You can see just the adjustment late, and you're absolutely right, Nate. Had it just found the inner half of that bat, that off stump could have been in a bit of trouble. Again, 100 is on the board for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They need just another 59 from the final 6.2 deliveries from 38 deliveries. So the required run rate just tickling up a bit. This time, use of the feet, chases after a wide one. He's got enough bat to get it into the gap. And a well stopped out there in the deep at sweeper cover. Every run important here at Church Street Park. And that stop saves 2 runs.
Always looks great making a stop like that when you got a nice, beautiful gold chain dangling around.
Again, just take a look at this sliding. Feet first, and look at it, stops it behind the body. Rather impressive there.
And that's Jay Pathak back in the action, making a great play.
And again tries it, and again misses it. Ashok, it seems to be a shot he likes to play. We haven't seen him connect on one yet today, but he's going to end it with the dot ball, so just a 7-run over. Again, you take another look at this. The off cutter comes out, misses it altogether.
That off cutter not maybe moving as much as it did yesterday.
And that'll end the 14th over, 105 for the loss of 2.
And a shock. I believe he has premeditated his last 4 shots, it looks like to me. Starting maybe to panic a little bit. No reason to, really. He's at 42 from 35 right now. The most runs in the innings so far. We saw Roy Silva get out. That was a huge wicket. And now we have JaVale Glenn, 38 from 25.
Yeah, with the bat in hand, they've looked good, but the Atlanta Fire with the ball, they've started to reel things back. A wicket for Cornwall, a wicket for Hussein. Emil Ponzo, he's been economical, 3 overs, 18 runs, and Everett Dyer, 2 overs, 18 runs. You have to imagine he's going to come back at some point in time. But they're going to go to the off spinner. Nasir Hussain, again, the Bangladeshi international. He's taken international wicket, scored international runs, took a first wicket in his first minor league delivery. Can take a wicket here. Worked into the leg side from Glenn. They're going to think about 2. They're just going to settle for 1. It's good work from Rishi Pandey. And every run so important here at Church Street Park.
Yeah, Hussein looking around in between every delivery, it seems, taking his time. He doesn't seem to go at the pace that most spinners bowl, you know, coming in and firing the ball in.
Yeah, we see a lot of people try to go in and rush their overs. As this one is taken into the leg side, finally a connection, and he's gotten it beautifully over the top of mid-wicket for 6 runs. Finally bat on ball for Ashok, and a sigh of relief for him as he gets this one over the top into the leg side, and a huge boundary.
Oh yeah, he stepped right into that one, right onto the front foot. Nice big slog shot there.
Yeah, we've seen Hussein get good bounce consistently. Just trying to ride it. This time goes for it again, and again misses. Again, the head rises, look to the heavens, say, why can't I play this shot? You think after the 3rd one he would learn, but he tried the 4th, and still same result.
I believe that's now 5 out of 6 shots. Of the last 6 shots he's attempted have been premeditated shots.
And you can see JaVale Glenn just having a word with Ashok. The definition of insanity, Nate, is trying something over and over again and expecting a different result. That's what we're seeing from Ashok. This one is cut, and he's found the fielder. Finally gets bat on ball, but all he could do was find Rishi Pandey, and subdued celebrations all around. You can see stone cold from Rishi Pandey as he takes that catch. Ashok, he goes for just 48 off 37.
You could almost see that one coming. As I said, he kept premeditating shots. He looked a little bit under duress.
And his day comes to an end. It was just a sluggish way to end it. And he scores 48 from 38. After his wicket falls, it's 112 for the loss of 3.
Only 2 runs shy of a half century for Ashok there. You know, the half centuries, they don't seem to matter as much, really, when you think about it in T20 cricket especially. It's more about the rate you get there than, you know, whether or not you pass that milestone.
Yeah, we've seen runs that just aren't effective, and sometimes see low scores that are more impactful. It's going to be Vade, who comes in 11 matches, 136 runs. It's Kiran Kumar Reddy Vade into the middle. Kiran Kumar, he's someone who's batted pretty much all over this order. He's come and opened at times, and now in the middle of this batting lineup, and again just has to support JaVale Glenn. And again after this 15th over. It's 112 for the loss of 3 here, and for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they need 50 from 5.2. The required run rate nearing 10 runs. And this one, that one staying straight with the arm. That's a beautiful delivery this from Hussein to back up a wicket ball.
Beautiful delivery. Maybe a couple of wickets here might make things look a lot better for Atlanta Fire, but got a dot right after the wicket.
And again beats the outside edge, and Hussein ends the over with a high. Got hit for a 6 early on, but responds with the wicket and responds with 4 consecutive dot balls. And at the end of 15, it's 112 for the loss of 3.
1, 2, 3. I the slow short ball.
This game going down to the wire between the Atlanta Fire and the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Thinking for the captain, Zain Saeed, to do. He's got 50 runs to defend from the last 5. You look at the standard in T20 cricket in the last 5 overs, you are expected to score at 10 runs and over, especially with an aggressive Javal Glenn at the crease. Dane Pete alongside me. Welcome back, Dane.
Thanks, Nikhil. Great part of the game this is. Exactly 10 runs and over required. Gettable with, like you said, Javal Glenn at the crease. A CPL player for the St. Lucia Zooks, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got a lot of experience. As his bat says, the boss. Obviously a hero of his, being from Jamaica. Chris Gale, a big fan. But yeah, this is a great platform for the Fort Lauderdale Lions to explode at the back.
Down to deep third. You have seen a couple players from the West Indies use the boss brand, of course, from Chris Gale. Romario Shepherd is one, Javal Glenn being another. The two are very close, Glenn and Chris Gale both being from Jamaica. Javal Glenn loves his cricket. You saw it earlier, he took a catch, put out a little dance. He's already scored 100, which I know meant a lot to him. He'll be in the CPL in a couple weeks' time.
Gotta listen real carefully when Glenn speaks, Javal. Me, personally.
Well,
never been exposed to the Caribbean, but you gotta listen real careful when he opens his mouth.
Then we need to get you over. Why have you not come as yet, man? Come on.
You're speaking like a man that has a lot of money, so fly me and my family over, please.
No. Well, we'll hope that the Toyota Tundra can tuck in the wheels and maybe turn into a boat in this minor league cricket championship presented by Sunoco. Dane Pete, the captain of the Marshall Raptors, alongside me in the commentary box. Dane, you've got to come to the West Indies, man. It's just too good of a place. Paradise. And I'll give you in particular Barbados. Bowden, Yorker length, went full, and another wicket at this stage. Crucial blow for the Atlanta Fire. Boy, did they need that wicket.
Not only the Atlanta Fire needed that, but Everoy Dyer needed that too. A man that got hit around a little bit yesterday. First 2 overs did, but that's a massive wicket. Kid invited, good player. Finished the game against the Morrisville Raptors in Fort Lauderdale. As you said, Nikhil, a wide Yorker. He tried to manipulate the ball down to the 3rd-man region, but chopped it on. He's gone for a 3-ball duck. And now the Fort Lauderdale Lions are 113 for 4.
Well, that will be a costly wicket for the Lions as they look to win this game. Williams comes to the middle. Murray Williams, he's known he can strike the ball pretty powerfully.
Let's go, Big D.
Next stump.
Well, Dan, it's really been an interesting innings for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. You look at the way they started, 43 runs from the first 5 overs. Put down at point. We have seen a couple of chances going to begging for this Fire team in the field where Shipande put down one at the deep cover boundary. Never easy. A team just with money at point. They race to you.
That was it pretty hard, to be fair to the young man. Short and wide. Cut firmly. But at this level should be taken. It's in the breadbasket, as we call it. But Javel Glenn back on strike. He'll be looking for a couple of lusty blows with a pace on the ball, which he would definitely prefer. He's played a good little innings so far, has Glenn.
Well, the good innings continues. He's got this in the gap. There is a few that cover as well to just get around Emilio Ponzo. But he's come back for 2. You think how much of the onus now has to be on the shoulders of Javel Glenn if they want to win this game?
Yes, he's quite a composed character when he has bat in hand. And you can see with that shot that he played over there, knowing that Dyer is going to try to aim at the stumps, just using his bottom hand to manipulate the ball over the extra cover. As you can see, set up now outside the off stump. But a very good piece of bowling by Dyer, tucking him up.
Yeah, this is a good over at this stage of the innings. Remember, they needed 50 from the last. I was talking about the inconsistency in the innings. They were 48 for 2 after the first power play. Bowling from around the wicket, Everett Dyer angling the ball into those stumps, trying to be attacking against Javel Glenn. Then they only scored 26 runs between overs 6 and 10. They really lost their way through that middle phase. The spinners came into the game nicely. We saw Nasser Hussain and Raheem Cornwall bowl in tandem, the 2 experienced players. But now, since over 10, in that middle phase, overs 10 to 15, 48 runs, and it's been because of Javel Glenn and the threat he's brought. Ken Williams helped. Gonna have to rebowl that one. We have seen that inconsistency in the line.
Having played against Williams a few times, he loves the offside. He prefers hitting the ball through the offside region. As you can see in his setup, he just pulled away with his left leg, trying to open the offside up. But again, it's going to be important for the Lions going into the back end of this innings to try and stay with a 10 runs and over, because in my opinion, that's quite achievable on this particular ground.
Went for the Yorker again. Williams able to squeeze it away. Wanted 2, but definitely just be 1. Look at what Zain Saeed has got to offer. We'll come back to his bowling options in the next over. Ends with a single, 119 for 4.
Keep it going, boys. Keep it going, boys.
Can I get bowling, 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 please?
Bavuma.
Well, with Dyer completing his 3 overs, means that Javel Glenn carrying the hopes of this Fort Lauderdale Lions team with 43. Interesting decision for Zain Saeed to make now. Dyer's got 1, Subramaniam 1, Amira Ponzo and Cornwall. Just the 5 options. You expect that one of these will bowl pretty much the remaining 4, Dane, or will he go out of the ordinary and maybe bring in a new option?
Now they'll finish off with what they have.
How you looking bigger? How you stay? How you want?
That's why they picked to play, to bowl. And I don't think it'll be a good call to bring on someone that hasn't bowled, shoving him into a pressure situation.
I just heard Raheem Cornwall talk to Javel Glenn. They're 2 very good friends. They know each other well from their time at the St. Lucia Kings. And he asked Javel Glenn, what length do you want? You can hear him chirping Cornwall. Many people think he's very quiet, but he does have his fun on the cricket field. The 2 will know each other very well. And he'll want this wicket desperately, not only for the banter and very full from Cornwall. It goes through the fielder.
Jesus Christ!
Painful blow. You cannot afford those types of mistakes at this stage. And Javel Glenn, he timed it well, and once they beat the fielder in the circle, it was going to be 4.
Yes, not very happy, the bowler wicket-keeper combination. Also really good friends. But again, just opening the face. And thank you very much, did Javel Glenn say, for the misfield and getting a much needed boundary early on in this over. Yeah, Rakeem does have a lot to say on the field. Yesterday calling me Jock Callis as I walked into bat. That is Rakeem Cornwall's favorite cricketer, by the way.
This time he goes aerial, but he's not in that cover region. Just be a single. Jay Pathat patrolling the boundary. Now, where does Rakeem Cornwall bowl to him? You look at the 5 he's got outside the circle, the deep cover, deep mid-wicket fielders. He's got the long off, long on in place. 2 in the onside on that boundary. Where do you think, as an off-spinner yourself, Dane, where do you bowl at this stage of the innings?
Yeah, with his 6'6" frame, it's easy to fire a Yorker in. And that's what he's trying to do with the trajectory that he does get on his ball. Obviously, to the new man, he will change his length. But to Glenn, it's important that he doesn't get under the ball. And that's what he's tried to execute, as you can see, with especially with the 2 points that you will see, trying to block the one that he squeezes out to go through the point region. But let's see how he closes this over out.
Coming down the track and right on. This is why we pay you the big bucks, Dan Pete. Like you call it, into the off-spinner's mind, goes for the Yorker. Oh, this is brilliant. Caldwell from the box, going Yorker length.
I think Rakataki has a earpiece in. He just tried to follow what I said, but
another full delivery, another delivery at the stumps. Right on the money. Cornwall finishes his 4 overs on the tad bit of expensive side. I'll give him some heat about that. Concedes 8 and over. 126 for 4. Four overs, 32 runs on the expensive side when you look at his standards and what he's been able to do in this tournament. Rakeem Cornwall, he's picked up 13 wickets. His economy rate is under 7 and over. He's been so impactful with both bat and ball for this Atlanta Fire team. Small conference happening in the middle as well. Well, you can see it's been up and down for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. One stage, the way they started in the first 5 overs, they were well on top. And they've dipped a bit, and now coming a lot closer. This is a very gettable total, you think, Dane Pete. With 3 overs left, you've got 6 wickets in hand. 36 runs is gettable. The Atlanta Fire have got to bowl well. They're going to Atinja Subramaniam.
Yeah, they are going to the young man. Bowling the 18th over. And then back to the international experience of Amila Ponzo and Mr. Hussain, which will try and close out the innings. But again, it's a matchup, I beg your pardon. Amila Ponzo, Everoy Dyer, and Atinja all have an over up their sleeve. So it's important that the young man bowls a crucial over here. They're trying to keep that matchup of Amila Ponzo away from Javal Glenn as the ball's going to spin in. So this is why they're probably going to go Atinja Subramani and then Everoy Dyer, and hopefully Glenn's out by then to give the last over to Amila Ponzo. But again, it's gettable with wickets that they do have in hand. It's important that the new batsman that comes in tries to rotate the strike. I mean, the ball's there, needs to try and put it away.
Well, Dane Pete, I can tell you, is low-key, as they say, us youngsters say, low-key rooting for Javal Glenn at the moment. Because this Fire team beat his Raptors side. When they come down to seeding, the Raptors will want to finish first in this group. Of course, they want to qualify for the playoffs. Starts with a slower delivery.
Nikhil, all I want is a good game of cricket.
Oh, come on, Dan. Don't give me that.
I just want a good game of cricket at my home ground, here at Church Street Park in North Carolina.
I'm not buying it.
And the young man just wringing his hand after this blow, Nikhil.
Yeah, good cutter though. Good change of pace. I wonder how easy is it to pick, because he comes up to the gather with that ball in hand. You can clearly see he's going to bowl that cutter, but still they've struggled to score off of him. I'm going to put this to you though, Dane. Atinja Subramaniam, he's bowled well today. Carrying on from that performance yesterday, he's only conceded 24 runs at 7.5. Yeah, that's going to hurt that bowling hand that's just been struck. But did they have an opportunity to maybe bowl Everett Dyer from this end. He just bowled an over the 16th over from this end, which went for just 7 runs. I worry about him from the northern end. Another good cutter, and this is why I was wondering, why not save Subramaniam for that penultimate all-important over if you can sneak one of Everett Dyer, who has been on the expensive side, in this over now?
I know the conversation at mini mail conference that happened out there in the middle, that they would be speaking about experience in the last 2 overs, which they do have in Everett Dyer and Amila Ponzo. And yes, exposing the young man to a high-pressure situation, but also protecting him from bowling a very important penultimate over, which we all know is the most important over in T20 cricket.
Miscued. Luckily for Javal Glenn, doesn't quite time it. It means just trickles. They're coming back for 2. Run out chance. He's got to hurry. And Jamar Hamilton unable to collect cleanly. But that was problematic. The Lions cannot afford a run out at this stage. But with that too, it means that Javal Glenn will get back for his 50. It's been a quality innings from the young man. He's a real good young player, Javal Glenn, who's made some contributions. He's already scored 100 in this tournament and showing that he's one to watch in this minor league tournament, leading the run tally now for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, beautiful little innings that Javal Glenn compiled. Loved his intensity as soon as he came in. Great strike rate of 142.86, which is always very good, what you want in the middle order.
Another big swing and a miss. He's disappointed, Javal Glenn.
Do you think he was disappointed with that, Nikhil?
One thing I find interesting, Dane, is look how far across his stumps he's batting. Literally, his right leg is on the off stump or outside that off stump. Tells you that it's time for all must go. It's that time of the innings. In the Barbados, they say fly the kite.
We say it's a clearance cell, everything's got to go. And you can see his toes are just pointing outside the off stump.
Oh, that's harsh. That is harsh. And Atinja Subramaniam's trying to make the case to the umpire that he's starting from far away across that off stump. So Subramaniam's trying to respond. It's tough to be a bowler, I tell you, in T20 cricket.
Yes, it is, unfortunately. But the young man does have a case. But unfortunately, those are the rules. It's cut the blue line. And the umpires don't have any leeway in this form of the game, unfortunately. They won't be thinking about what you're trying to do. And look where he's set up now.
Okay, well, good. You go ahead, move. You go ahead, move. Oh, there you be. Okay, better line you be. Right there you be. Right there you be. Right there you be. Right there you be. What you say?
Jamar Hamilton, he's so...
Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen.
Let's go, Hamilton.
I need a translation after this, Nikhil.
He's trying to tell Javal Glenn.
That's where you be. That's where you be.
Yeah, he's trying to say that Glenn is moving around in his crease and is forcing Subramaniam to adjust his line. But he's quarreling, I think, with the umpire because he's just... I think the umpire's actually been harsh in that situation. Young Subramaniam trying to counter-attack.
Bang.
The power of Glenn on display. This man could single-handedly win this game for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, and he's doing it. Got to 50 in this over. Pressure on young Subramaniam. What a way to close it out. End of 18, 136 for 4. We've got a game on our hands.
No, none of that.
26 needed from the last 2 overs. This game is well on, and just when you thought there was nothing in it, the Fort Lauderdale Lions, a team last in the Southern Division against the first place Fire, well, they're telling you, well, Javal Glenn is leading his team to the promised land, as Dane Pete likes to say. 26 from 2. Dane Pete, who bowls this over? The spinners got 1, Apina Ponzo, and Everett Dyer, the seamers, also got 1.
They'll keep the left-arm spinner away from Javal Glenn and go with the experience of Everett Dyer. I know they do have Lieb Sauberman in the ranks who bowls a bit of seam, who could bowl the last over, but this, like we do say, is the most important over of T20 cricket, where he would want to close out the over and make sure that the Fire have at least 15 runs to defend in the last over. So it's a quite a monumental task on hand for Everett Dyer with the momentum that the Fort Lauderdale Lions do have, but nothing is impossible. What a beautiful shot that was of Church Street Park. There's loads and loads of entertainment happening right now.
So Javal Glenn, they'll need him to bat to the end. His partner at the other end has done well, run about 5. The main thing will be to get the experienced Glenn on strike. You think that for the Fire, they'll know that they take 1 wicket from here and the wicket of Glenn, they're likely going to win this game. The required rate 13 and over from here on in. Everett Dyer has been on the expensive side. You mentioned the fact that he has conceded over 9 runs and over in this tournament.
I would take 9 of this over right now, Nikhil. It leaves that 15 runs of the final over, which I did ask for. So this is what we live for. We play 38 overs of cricket to get down to this crucial part of the game.
Does the smart thing, Williams, able to get Javal Glenn back on strike. This is what the matchup is going to come down to.
This is the game right here, Nikhil. Everett Dyer against Javal Glenn. Let's see what he does. Coming around the wicket. Probably going to use that same tactic that Rakeem Cornwall did. Try to fire it in at the toes, which is the best delivery to bowl at the death since the days of W.G. Grace to now in 2022 at Church Street Park. Let's see how he goes about his business.
Looking to play that ramp, looking to be cheeky. Glenn doesn't connect. It's a good start to the over so far. In the last over, Dan, we did see a bit of mind games happening from Javal Glenn, some movement in his crease. He's a smart young player. And he was able to rattle Atinja Subramaniam to in length, and he was able to finish you over with a big 6. Here again, he's doing much of the same.
Never quite understood this as a guy that has a lot of power in Javal Glenn. I would always want him to aim straight and whack the ball over the bowler's head. But yes, that's the evolution of the way the game of cricket has gone.
Another dot delivery. This is excellent from Everett Dyer. Holding his nerve well, bowling around the wicket. Trying to go at the stumps, but he's pushing it wide and asking Javal Glenn to hit him through the offside. I like this option. When you look at the field that he's working with, you do tend to see that long off cover fielder. He's got the deep third in place as well. And then, of course, the one in the onside, the deep mid-wicket, and with the long on. So, wide
That's
given.
a wide. That's a good call. That's a very good call.
Really, DNP? I thought that was on the line.
Nah, you will see in our good production team will slow it down for you, Nikhil, and you will definitely see it's a wide delivery.
Oh, Dane Pete.
It's pitched outside the blue line.
Pete.
It's a wide.
That is nail-biting stuff. I personally, at this stage, this is a batter's game. How he's moving around in his crease. You're going wide of the stumps. And that, of course, poetic justice. Dot delivery. What an over this has been from Everett Dyer. 2 runs conceded in the penultimate.
Fantastic piece of bowling. He was a brave man to go length to Javal Glenn. He pulled it off. Then he bowled that wide. But again, the game's not done yet. If he hits a 6, gets another 4, Amila Aponzo, Lieb Silverman, there's options. And unfortunately, he hasn't quite taken advantage of this over. But this, again, important.
But he does connect with it. But there is a man at long off, and he's put it down.
Oh, dear.
Lieb Silverman, it was at long off.
Madman.
And the Atlanta Fire almost had their man. That could have been the game right then and there. But instead, the Lions fight to live another day. Didn't quite connect with it. Tried to go over that long off region. Silverman was in the perfect position. Tried the reverse cup. And it's put down. We have seen catches go down today for the Atlanta Fire. Everett Dyer is disgusted with himself and really and truly deserved that wicket. He's bowled such a quality last over here. 3 runs conceded.
Great piece of bowling by the experienced Everett Dyer. Love his skill set. Has a unique kind of action. which will help him at the death. But again, it's a free shot here for Williams. Let's see where he goes.
Dyer goes wide.
Must come back for 2.
He is going to come out for 2. They're going to attack the bowler's end, but he's very quick. Hamilton unable to pick up cleanly again. We don't usually see it from him. Just shows you it has an effect when your team is struggling in the field on every player. End of 19 overs, 21 runs needed from the last. It's going to be tough, but it's not impossible for Javal Glenn. 141 for 4.
Give him a hand, fellas. Let's go, guys. Last push here. Last six, guys.
Well, 141 for 4. The Fort Lauderdale Lions in their second last game of this tournament, fighting right till the end. 21 runs needed from the last over. You speak about matchups. Well, this Atlanta Fire team, they've used only 5 options today, and it comes down to 1 over. Amila Aponzo is the only bowler with 1 over remaining. He hasn't picked up a wicket. He's experienced, but this is a different challenge in itself. 1 over to defend 21 runs. He's a left-arm spinner, bowling to the dangerous, demonstrative Javal Glenn.
And well set, Javal Glenn at that.
Now tell me, Dane, you're a captain. Do you go to the seam option of maybe a Liam Sauerman who hasn't bowled the ball in 2 weekends? Or do you stick with your guns and your experience to go to Aponzo?
Always go to Aponzo. He's bowled in the game. He understands how the pitch is playing. He will understand what he needs to do, because for the last 3 overs, he's been thinking of how he's going to execute his skill here. And this is it. This is the last over. I would put all my faith and trust into Amila Aponzo, because if you look at his career stats, it's unbelievable in T20 cricket. So he knows what he's doing. He's got a career in professional T20 cricket of under 6 and over for his economy rate.
14 runs have been conceded from the Fire in the last 2 overs. The 2 seamers who have been on the expensive side in the past, they've done well to hold their nerve. Do they have it in them? What a win, what an upset this would be for the Fort Lauderdale Lions if they can get over the line. Batting outside is off stump, Glenn. First delivery, full toss, and it's been dispatched into the onside. You cannot bowl there to Javal Glenn.
You cannot bowl there to Javal Glenn. He's spot on. He's trying to go Yorker at the stumps, and unfortunately he bowled a hip-high full toss, and Javal Glenn was all over that delivery and chipping it into the kids' playground for a massive, massive, massive 6.
That was stumped. Javal Glenn, he's already hit 3 maximums today. Make that 4. Probably give him an extra 1 for it, because it went a long way back. And Amila Aponzo, with all his experience, under serious pressure. Much better length. Javal Glenn smartly opts not to take the single. Could they have got back
Could
for
have been 2. Could have been 2. I don't like this. I definitely don't like this. There's a man called Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He's done it for years and years and years, so he knows what he's doing. But that right there, I don't like. Any pressure from Omari Williams to run back to the danger end definitely gets Glenn back on strike, and then they need 13 from 4 deliveries. Game on. You're not going to just win this game by hitting 6s, unfortunately. Amila will get one of these balls right.
Javal Glenn has got other ideas than Pete. He's going big, looking to go big. Mind games. It's a chess match in this T20 cricket. And Amila Aponzo, with all his experience, I tell you, Dave, he's got a very serious face on now, but he's always looking for a laugh. And underneath, he won't be too serious, because he's been in this situation many times for his team, where he's had to take wickets, had to defend runs. Full toss again. Scintillating from Javal Glenn. It's the second 6 in the over, and the second full toss that's been put away.
Now that, Nikhil, is a hell of a cricket shot. It was a low full toss. His left hand, which is his bottom hand on the bat, really took over and helped the elevation of the ball to get straight for 6. That is an unbelievable shot. I might be eating my words saying that he can't win this game by hitting 6s, but that right there, Nikhil, was a exceptional cricket shot. Favor to the Fort Lauderdale Lions, who have nothing to lose.
It's full. It's full.
Bang!
It's 6 more. The Atlanta Fire are in serious trouble. This is swashbuckling from the young 24-year-old straight out of Jamaica. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions could be on the cards for one of the biggest upsets we've seen all season.
Please don't mention the Lauderdale Raptors in that equation, Nikhil. But look at that again, low full toss. This right here, you can see the execution and the skill, what it takes to hit a shot like that. People, batsmen around the world, start training this low full tosses. Coaches are flicking sidearms, low full tosses, because back in the day, a low full toss used to be a ball that you could get away with. But right now, he's just putting it away quite easily. A mini conference, 2 balls too late, in my opinion. I would have personally thought Emilio Ponzo would have come around the wicket, tried to generate a different angle, a wide Yorker maybe, set the offside field out. But we 3 of 2. What a great game of cricket this has been.
Well, he's tried this Yorker for 4 deliveries and he's gotten it wrong 3 times. They've all been full. Now pushes it wide. 2 is the call. They're coming back. And running to the danger area. Is it going to be dismissed? The umpire says not out. And it means 1 from the last delivery. We've already seen a super over here at Church Street Park. And they're not happy, the Fire.
Jamal Hamilton not happy. I fully agree with him. He went down to the knee too early. He just wanted to release the ball. Going down to the knee did take some time out for that run-out opportunity. And now, 1 of 1, do the Atlanta Lightning set a field for Javal Glenn's strength in the cow corner region, hoping he plays a big shot. But this game is set up beautifully right now. 1 of 1 delivery. And what a well-paced innings by the young man. I have made to eat my own words, Nikhil.
They brought the field up, but they will set that lone man out on the boundary. He says sending one down now to that deep mid-wicket position. Very interesting how things are unfolding. 1 fielder on the boundary. It's 1 from 1. Dane Pete knows this super over situation all too well. He's been in 1. He's won 1 for his team. And there it is, a win for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Javal Glenn, take a bow. It's been a significant innings from the young man. What an upset as he asks the haters, he silences them. What a bold performance from the Lions and what an upset in this minor league.
Unbelievable game of cricket. Listen, what I've lost for words. Outstanding run chase by the young Javal Glenn. That will give him so much confidence going into the CPL. He's just showed the world what he is capable of doing. Bow down, Javal Glenn. What a game of cricket that was. It was a great game to call, Nikhil. Fantastic run chase by the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
The Atlanta Fire will be disappointed that they've been defeated from this situation. Javal Glenn, though, 75 going into that final delivery, and then strikes it out the park to get to 83 and upset the Fire, who are the top of the table team, remember. And it just tells you if the Lions were able to put together a few more consistent performances, who knows what could have happened. They're just showing you how dangerous of a team they could be. The Fire, well, they will be stunned after coming here, defeating the Raptors. The Atlanta Fire will have to go back to the drawing board, will have to think about their planning. What a win. That's been such a good game of cricket coming down to the wire where they're known for this here at Church Street Park. It was all about the start from Roy Silva and Ashok Gonoguntla, who got 48 from just 38 deliveries. And then Javal Glenn, though, he is the standout by a long way. Gonoguntla and Glenn were able to put on a partnership of 55. 350-run partnerships has always been useful when you're chasing a score of 160, in excess of 160. And in the end, on the very final delivery of this innings with 21 runs needed in the last over, the Atlanta Fire, their bowlers, didn't do too badly, but it was all about the last over, which traveled the distance from Emilio Ponzo. It was always going to be a big gamble bowling him in the final over of the innings to a left-hander. And just a wicket for Cornwall, Everidaya, and 2 for Nasser Hossain. 161 for 9 posted by the Fire. You always wondered if they were 10 to 15 runs short. And in the end, the Fort Lauderdale Lions, from the bottom of the Southern Division, causing havoc in this division, defeating the Fire by some 6 wickets in the end, thanks to Javal Glenn with his stunning 83 from just 48 deliveries. My heart's still racing after this innings. It started with Roy Silva and Gunnar Guntler opening the batting. They got off to a dream start, 48 runs. Sorry, came off the first 6 overs. They lost 2 wickets, but they were able to strike well down the ground a couple of times. They made use of the gaps. The way that they started, it was just caused worry for the Atlanta Fire. And they just needed to pick up wickets. They did fight back in the game. When you look at the middle overs, between overs 6 and 10, they only conceded 26 runs. Gunnar Guntler was ensured that he remained there, take the game as deep as possible. Looked in really good nick today. Whether it was pace or spin, he was able to attack well. Raheem Cornwall came into the attack with his changes of pace, but Gunnar Guntler batted well, went inside out through extra cover. Then Roy Silva departed, too short of a half century. He would have been disappointed. Just was caught at square leg. They did drop a couple of chances, the Atlanta Fire, which cost them in the end. Can't afford to drop catches at this in such tight games. And then a stumping in the next over. Danza Hyatt had to go. Quick work done by Jamar Hamilton. But ladies and gentlemen, the show was just about beginning. Javal Glenn, because when he came in, it started slowly, but when he got underway, they were tough to stop, the Fort Lauderdale Lions, because he just manipulated this Church Street Park field. It's not small boundaries here in North Carolina, but no boundary is big enough for the power of Glenn. When he came down the track, especially to the spin, he's just 24 years old, but he's got serious ability. And Nasser Hossain, with his off spin, picked up 2 wickets, but he was on the expensive side today. A couple of boundaries square. You did see in the onside. Aponzo went for 44 runs today. And it was always going to be a bold move to bowl him in the last over, because when Glenn did face him earlier, he really struck the ball nicely. Cornwall knew Glenn well. They both have played a lot of cricket together at the St. Lucia Kings. He went through the offside. He's just so skillful, Javal Glenn. Already picked up 100 this tournament. Those shots never easy to play. Through extra cover, that went all the way for 6. Those low full tosses, he's just got so much power. That went straight up, but it went far enough. But then, this was the stage of the innings where you thought the Fire could come back into the game when they got a shot. Gunnar Guntler, easy catch for Rishi Pandey at point. But Javal Glenn and others had ideas. That was a good Yorker by Avory Dyer. Just 7 runs conceded between overs 16 and 18. Raheem Cornwall bowled a good over. A couple of miscues again. That cost the Atlanta Fire in the end. First, they were short by 50 runs with the bat in hand, but in the field. And the final over, 21 runs to get. Javal Glenn smokes 3 maximums. That was the first. Then another full toss, which went into the onside. Far enough. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not small boundaries by any means. Somehow, some way, though, the power of the Jamaican on display. What a shot that is. And on the final delivery, just 1 to win. Fittingly, Javal Glenn ending it with a maximum. Scintillating knock from Glenn. What will be his penultimate game for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. In the end, winning by 6 wickets. Set up first by Roy Silva's 3 wickets. Iyer was good with 3. And then the power and the incredible nature of young Javal Glenn. Astonishing 83 from just 48 deliveries. And we had to speak to today's man of the match, Javal Glenn. Javal, first of all, we saw you score 100 earlier this season. We know how much pride you take in your cricket. What does this innings and match-winning performance mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, thanks to the Almighty God again to come out here and display my talent, you understand? But this was special for me. Who knows me know that I'm going through a patch now and so forth like that. I just got not get picked in the CPL, and that is kind of giving me that extra boots and drive that I really need. I think this is the boots that I really want to go on the international stage, because that's my goal, that's my aim, for sure.
Talk to me about the run chase, Javal. When you came in, you know, you had a good start from your team, but they just slowed down through the middle period. What was the plan when you first came in? We saw you take that sort of extra impetus against the spin.
Well, I've been like having a game plan in my head. If I can adjust to that fast as possible, I think that will help my game. I'll be more dominant in every era of my game, you understand me? So I take some ball up early up. I once talked to Carlos Brathwaite, and he always tell me, say, Glenn, just give yourself 10 balls every game. Just give yourself 10 balls every game.
This last over against the left-arm spinner, 21 runs to get. Did you always believe that you could get them? You could chase them down?
Yeah, batting on that good wicket, despite how the field is big. I always bat myself. I know my power, I know my talent. I always bat myself in any tough circumstances. You understand me?
83 from 48 deliveries. Final question for you, Javal. What do you think this says to the world about Javal Glenn? Is this a warning after an innings like this?
I'm just doing God works. You understand me? I'm not doing anything to point to anybody or anything. I'm just doing what the Almighty give me to do on the earth, and I'm just doing that.
Truly an enjoyable innings. Javal, 48 deliveries for your 83. It's a pity that the Fort Lauderdale Lions weren't able to string together more performances like this, but congrats to you, congrats to the team. We look forward to seeing you in action against this Fire team tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks again. Pleasure.
Javal Glenn, what an innings. Tantalizing to say the least. Ladies and gentlemen, this Church Street Park produces some thrilling contests. We've already seen a couple of games go down to the final delivery, and what has that meant for the Southern Division is shaking things up, because the Atlanta Fire, with only one group stage match remaining on 17 points, the Raptors, if they can get a win against the Lightning, will go to the top of the table. That is one that no one saw coming. And of course, the Fort Lauderdale Lions will pick up their 4th win, and it will help them. Don't go anywhere, because we've already seen I'm exhausted after just one game. 5:30 p.m. local time, the Raptors against the Lightning. Win or go home for the Lightning. The Raptors will need to win one of the next 2 games if they want to qualify for those playoffs in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco. We'll be back very soon with action. It's bye for now.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.